his house, was intensely respectful, incredibly fair, portrayed his beautiful family on camera, yet via an overlay of audio from Louis, was interrogated about not having a father around. Let me remind you, this is a kind, respectful, honest, integral family man. Now, I think he portrayed himself incredibly throughout the documentary, and they still tried to take a punt at him, which was surprising, because you'd hope in this world, when you have someone that's willing to level with reason, you'd level back. But that's the thing about the state of this world and the manosphere. You can provide logic, you can provide reason, but it won't be accepted until you do and say exactly what someone else wants. And then what they do is collide these people as a one-shoe-fits-all, when I can guarantee many parties within this one operation would disagree with one another. I'd love you to put Justin Waller and Ed Matthews in a room and see if they agree on every single point. The manosphere, or the masculine movement, is not about getting women to clean your plates in the kitchen or being able to cheat on whoever you want freely. I'm part of the manosphere and I'm in an optional monogamous relationship. I'm not someone to check my views, but I really hope this video does some good numbers, because the truth is what's important. Not someone coming into people's homes and then utilizing opportunities behind their backs to manipulate the messaging and probe negativity out of something that's actually very, very positive.
Fire for your mind. Causation, clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toast them. Young heads pick it back up and young dope them. This is our culture, now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, asking fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters, acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We're going to have a good conversation on today. I got the 4 horsemen in the house, man. I got the 4 distinguished guests in the house. Dr. L, Dr. Thunder, and my homie, A Peaceful Life. And this is going to be a very comprehensive show because we understand actually what's going on. There have been so many mischaracterizations of the manosphere without adding nuance and without giving clarity to the conversation. Many times people take the whole concept of the manosphere and they falsely equivocate the manosphere with everything that's deleterious to community, to relationships, and they falsely castigate all men under this negative umbrella without understanding that the manosphere is not some big conglomeration. It's loosely organized with men from different backgrounds and different worldviews and also different political affiliations. And I've always said in the past, whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies. We don't, and that's okay. But we do come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate when the crisis is over. I've been saying this for the last 5 years. There's a crisis in heteronormative masculinity, and the powers that be don't want to see men free. They falsely equivocate all men under a negative umbrella, a negative equivocation, and they never add nuance or clarity. So the powers that be want to minimize and limit male sovereignty. And we're going to talk about today with Dr. L, Dr. Thunder, A Peaceful Life, and myself about how we all came to the manosphere. And I put a lot of time and talent and with time and energy into this show. So do me a favor, go ahead and go support Dr. L, Dr. Thunder, A Peaceful Life. And guys, get your wallets out and support this show. This is going to be an excellent show. I think I'm going to put it on members only afterwards. But we're going to break down this movie called Inside the Manosphere. Dr. Thunder, I think, has seen it. Dr. L has seen it. I haven't seen it, but I basically know what it's talking about. And we're going to give a very detailed analysis of everything and understand what the current culture and the current trends is trying to say as they're trying to not only minimize male sovereignty, but as we say in my professional and the clinical world, reduce the right to self-determination. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the brothers on, and we're going to break this thing down. So shout out to the one of the Gen X's, Dr. L in the house. Shout out to A Peaceful Life, and shout out to the Greek scholar, the theologian, the theological scholar, Dr. Thunder. All of us are Gen X brothers, man. And we're going to have a good show. So listen, Dr. Thunder has seen the show. Dr. L has seen the show, the movie. I think Dr. Thunder and Dr. L have seen it. Let me ask you guys a question, man. What is your take of what the manosphere is and what it means to you? And what was your consternation with the movie Inside the Manosphere, starting with Dr. L, and then we'll go to Dr. Thunder. Go ahead.
So thanks for having me. I appreciate everyone. It's a pleasure to be on this panel today.
No doubt.
So the Manosphere to me is a place of, it's obviously an online space that has been very beneficial to me. It's helped me to understand many of the issues and problems that I was going through or realizing I was not crazy.
Right. Yes, sir.
Entering back into the dating space, I understood that I was not crazy. I was seeing things as they were. Yeah, and the documentary did not paint that picture accurately. It was definitely a hit piece. It was definitely a piece. I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later, but just a piece that was designed to make men feel bad about the things that they wanted, and to look up to nefarious actors who didn't have the best of intentions
Right.
for men and for masculinity. So we can unpack that in a little bit, but those are some of my thoughts early off.
No doubt. Dr. Thunder, what was your premise of this movie, Inside the Manosphere? What was your premise of the movie, sir?
Yeah. And you know, I saw when that movie came out, the documentary came out, and I didn't watch it right away because I knew what it was as soon as I saw it on Netflix. But then I went ahead and watched it because I wanted to be able to do a show on it, which I did a couple weeks ago. My assessment of this is that it's the same thing that all of these hit pieces do, and it made the same mistakes. So now, granted, we know it's intentional that they're painting the space in a particular kind of monolithic knuckle draggers. You're all a bunch of MAGA ninjas that think that women should be back in the kitchen, and all of this kind of misogyny. We know what they
We know what they're doing. Yes, sir.
But the mistake I think that these hit pieces are making is that because they don't address the space with any nuance.
Right.
It's obvious that they have done zero research and have no understanding of what actually goes on in the space.
Right.
So all it would take for a person that wanted to check it out for themselves to do is just to poke around just a little bit, and they'd be able to discover that that they were not telling you the truth. Right? They were just, it was a propaganda hit piece. They're trying really hard, and I think people that are reasonable, I think that they'll see straight through that, and I think that they'll pretty easily be able to tell that this is being done because there's something about the space that would give men a particular kind of information that I think would, potentially topple the status quo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's my general assessment. He admits early on, Thoreau admits within the first few minutes that this documentary film was not about the space as a whole. He said that he was focused on more controversial folks.
Okay. Right.
He actually said that, and I thought that was being more honest than most of these hit pieces are.
Yes, sir.
And then he the folks that I'm sorry, the people that so the people that he was talking about, but then he also they made a statement saying that generally the space is not filled with people that are making these sort of outlandish claims and are hyperbolic and and like that. So I thought that was actually somewhat of a step forward.
Right.
Somebody made a comment in one of my videos, so I did my take on this a couple weeks ago, and somebody put a comment in there and said that Thoreau is a respected documentarian, and he thought that he was balanced on this kind of stuff, and I was like, well, so are a number of documentarians, but it just seems that when they cover certain topics, they do the same thing that everybody else does. Who's the guy that did Ken Burns? He did a documentary on jazz, and that documentary is all kinds of problematic. It represents the jazz as being dead or dying the whole time. It hyper focuses on Louis Armstrong, and spends very little time talking about bebop, talking about Charlie Parker, talking about John Coltrane, and some of these figures so it's sort of an interesting sort of thing, because I think people are trying to do the thing where they say, well, hey, Thoreau is a respected documentarian, we should believe what he's saying. And no, you shouldn't. You still need to do your own research. You still need to look into things. He talked not at all about the Black Manosphere. That's the other thing in this hit piece. And almost none of these hit pieces do they actually talk about the Black Manosphere, which is distinct and very much different than the general Manosphere.
Yeah. Shout out to my man, John Smith, guys. Make sure y'all support the channel. This stream is unified. So if you give us a super chat, I don't know how it's going to work because we're somehow all tied in. It's probably best to send a cash app. If you want to support Dr. L, Dr. Thunder, support Peaceful Life and myself, we're simul streaming, so make sure you guys show us some love. You can do it to Cash App or you can do it to Super Chat. I prefer Cash App so we can keep it separate, but it takes a lot of time to put these shows together, guys. This is going to be another classic. And so shout out to my man, I'm John Smith. I don't know who that goes to. He said, shout out to the greats all in one podcast. Shout out to my man Gregory Scotland. He says, salute to the 4 heroes of the Black Manosphere and Red Pill Spaces. Kosher, you have done it again. The message has gotten out in the ether, and it can't be stopped, man. I appreciate that, brother. And then also shout out to all the people that have watched. Peaceful Life, give me your take, brother, on this whole song Inside the Manosphere. And we're going to break this thing down comprehensively because I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the mischaracterizations. I'm tired of the misunderstandings, because you got 4 professional men. Dr. L said he came here being a doctor because he was looking for answers, because he thought he was crazy. Me being a professional therapist saw it happen many times, not only in practice, but 4 years ago, seeing other men have the same conversation that we were talking about in private about relationship issues, whether it be our girlfriends or our wives. I heard Dr. Thunder talk intently about what he'd been through prior to his second marriage. And also my man, Peaceful Life, him and I, we chop it up as brothers all the time as well, talking about relationships. And what makes this thing so problematic, I've had some of these libtards, try to shame me, and, he can't be a real therapist, because a lot of time with these crazy liberals is that if they can't control the narrative based on how they see a therapist, being a purple head therapist or a red head therapist, that's docile and obedient, then you're not a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist, and I say what I want to say. I'm a man first before I'm a therapist. And I think they struggle with it because they have not seen men talk in unison and men talk in masculine authority. And so some of these tars always assume that all men in a manosphere, even though we're not this unified conglomerate, all hate women, which is no further from the truth. Or they want to try to tell men how to become men. And now, because the manosphere has become so mainstream, it's making a lot of people afraid because they can no longer control the narrative. Peace, like, give me your intake, man, brother, on this whole thing about Inside the Manosphere. And you've been doing a great job with your channel. What's your take on it, brother? Go ahead.
Hey, salute to all the brothers on the panel and everybody that's joined the stream today. But it's strange. I couldn't stomach watching the whole series. And the first thing that came to my mind was distraction, manipulation, and redirection. And you do that many ways, and they've done this in warfare with propaganda, is to distract from the message itself and the problem itself, not to deal with the elephant in the room, which is the years plus 70 plus years of the turning this society itself into an absolute complete gynocentric gynocracy, the punching down and beating down of men and boys, pushing men down to lift women up. I'm basically trying to turn the making men effeminate creatures. They're attacking masculinity and manhood, which has resulted in some poor outcomes in terms of marriage and family, especially now with the economy the way it is. And the message of truth that men tell other men, it doesn't fall in line with the social programming.
Right.
And the way to defeat somebody when you can't deal with the truth is to demonize the messenger, pollute it. I mean, there are some guys that have some messages that are off point and may have some issues, but generally speaking, the men in the manosphere, again, I look at the manosphere, the red pill, and all these spaces as a reaction to the problem, not the problem itself. Because we tried this with the MRAs, with Paul Elam and the guys back in the days.
Right.
And obviously, some individuals with sordid characters have infiltrated some aspects of the manosphere with the PUA guys and so on and so forth. But the message has always been about divorce, family court matters, child support issues, unfair custody, a system that's based upon this marriage industrial complex where men are losing their children and divorces are coming. And we've had this system itself of this attack on men and boys for so long, and getting men to take very much unfair deals. Even in the conversations now, anything that serves men is automatically called misogynistic. I mean, it's horrible nowadays, but that's my sum up. The manosphere, the red pill, is just a reaction, and you cannot control men anymore.
Right. You're 100% correct. The manosphere was a response to the behaviors that modern women more or less transposed to them in dating and relationships. But it's more than that. The liberal talking points always see women as being trapped by oppressive men in the past and trapped by men that take away their rights or whatnot. But we know and understand that most men are trapped by law. Shout out to Cornell Smith. They're trapped by rebellious, obese, disrespectful women. They're trapped by paternity fraud. They're trapped by no-fault divorce. And they're trapped by churches that don't preach the objective truth or objective theology. And now because you got professional men like Dr. L, you got professional men like myself, professional men like Dr. Thunder, and retired law enforcement, and my man Peace for Life, we're professional men and we are saying it. But if we don't say it under the guise of this liberal umbrella, then it's a problem. So we're going to break down all the mystique and all the nonsense behind the manosphere. This is going to be real good, guys. And I'm very creative. I came up with with a montage, and we're going to break this thing down. Shout out to my man, Top Gun. He said viciously and vigorously to the brother. He got that from my man.
I don't know anything about it.
He got that from King Poundfish over there.
I wrote down a list of all the things I cannot say today. Dr. L, kosher, and Dr. Thunder. My list can't say these things.
He got it from King Poundfish. All right, so let's break this thing down, guys. Hold tight. I came up with a montage. It took me a long time to put this stuff together, so make sure y'all support it. All right, the manosphere, guys, and how many people try to convey the manosphere, and Dr. Thunder definitely can help me with this because he's one of the old school guys in the manosphere. I call this manosphere extreme. Many times they tend to associate the manosphere with the extreme cases like the Myron Gaines of the world, the Andrew Tates. And the crazy thing is Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines said they're not manosphere. And so Dr. Thunder and I understand, Dr. L, you're a little bit new to the game. Peace of Life has been in it about 4 years. I've been 5. Dr. Thunder probably about 6 or 7 years. But many guys are manosphere adjacents, but then you got what's called manosphere extremists. And what happens a lot of times, we saw a lot of these guys in the forefront in the beginning. And so when we came in from an academic perspective or a relationship perspective, but it was never from the extreme. I would say that the manosphere, mostly a bunch of moderates. There are extremists, but we're not part of no manosphere card-carrying membership where we got to adhere to guidelines. We're our own men that have different worldviews and different ideologies, but we all understand that there's a problem. But the manosphere extreme class would be the Myron Gaines, the Andrew Tates of the world, and they were either PUAs that more or less got on the internet and painted a narrative and more or less, said outlandish things for to make money. They made millions of dollars off outlandish content. How would you respond to what I said, Dr. Thunder, about this first montage picture, brother? Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Tate, I wasn't aware that Myron said that he wasn't manosphere, but Tate said he was not manosphere, and a number of folks that get highlighted as being manosphere. Matter of fact, in that the Louis Theroux hit piece, I think he said that. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't in that. It was something else I was doing. I mean, but many will try to put Jordan Peterson, and he's Manosphere, like this, and it's like, dude, I mean, it's obvious that you don't know, and you don't know what you're talking about. The space is mostly, I think, as you said, a bunch of moderates, but you have a wide array of different political affiliation.
Right.
You have people that vote, people that don't vote, people that are married, people that are not married, people that are divorced, people that are pro-marriage, people that are anti-marriage. You have a wide array of different kinds of folks, religious people. You have people that are not religious, got atheists, you've got agnostics, you've got Islam, some Muslim brothers, you've got Christian brothers, and then with the Christian brothers, you have an array of folks. You have more sort of Pentecostal, kind of brothers. You have like non-denominational kind of brothers. You've got high church folks, like Orthodox and Catholic folks. But you have a wide array of different kinds of folks and different perspectives, different, like, again, political affiliation. I style myself as being a bit more of a centrist. I'm right-leaning in some ways. I have some perspective. I have some what many would consider to be either libertarian or classical liberal kind of perspective on things. There's a few things that the progressives do that I think are actually okay. I don't have as big an issue with stuff like critical race theory. I think the way that it gets weaponized, I think is problematic, but I don't necessarily think that that's a problem. I have been hard in the paint talking about this issue, where the real issue in our country is that we've been pandering to awful women.
Yes.
Awful is affluent. I'm sorry. What is it? Awful. I always forget the acronym. Affluent white, affluent white female urban liberal. The affluent white, man, I keep messing it up. Affluent white, female urban liberal. And so I've been going hard in the paint about this is the primary issue in the red pill manosphere. Black manosphere is a direct reaction. It's a direct response to centering these women that are in a bubble, that have a bunch of folks that have been doing their bidding, including black women and other minority women. And what we saw was that the primary issue was actually race, because you notice what happened when Orange Man got in office and black women started losing their jobs like crazy.
Right.
But for the most part, white women have been okay. Right. So that shows you that the primary issue has always been an issue of race. But those are kind of issues that get discussed in the Black manosphere frequently. And that's definitely not a MAGA. That's not a MAGA Republican talking point.
Right.
So
anyway. Okay. All right. Dr. L, how would you respond to that, brother? I know you're sort of new to the space, but how would you respond to that?
All right. What was the question again? What was the question?
No. So okay. All right. So hold tight. All right. So
I was going to try to wing it. But I'm not.
Okay. So we call it the manosphere extreme class. And maybe you don't know much about Myron Gaines and Andrew Tate, but they tend to always truncate the manosphere with the most extreme cases. How would you respond to that?
Okay, so my response to that is that there's a few brothers that I know of who don't want to be associated with the manosphere.
Right.
Coach Greg Adams. Who's the other brother? Medium Man. Right. There's a few others who don't want to be a part of that. And years ago, I actually went to my other defunct channel. The videos are still up. It's called Captain Hunter's Podcast. And so I did a video about that, about professionalizing this space. Again, I had kind of just joined in, and the space had gotten so much negative attention that people wanted to distance themselves from it.
Right.
Some of them I would think that we're in agreement should be distanced from
right. No, right, exactly. Rightfully so.
There's some brothers in here who are level-headed, who are clear thinking, and want the best for, in particular, for Black men and for men overall.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with those who don't want to be aligned with it. Don't be aligned with it. If you don't like it, and the reason that they don't want to be aligned with it is because of the negative perceptions that it has. And of course, this video documentary that we're discussing continues to push that narrative that, these people are a bunch of incels, they can't get women. The only thing they're concerned about is women and being a gym bro and all these other nonsense. But there are certainly clearly some people out there who are looking for things that they lacked in their lives. As Dr. Thunder said, there's a wide range of individuals who have come here for a number of reasons, from religious, well, not that they're looking for religious things, but they've come here because they've lacked something. A lot of a theme that I have garnered is a lot of brothers and even older men have lacked mentors. They have lacked people to look up to. They have lacked father figures. And so I would say that this panel is a good example of what we should be, mentors who can mentor the young people. In my review of it, that's exactly what I said. These guys are out here looking for young people. These guys are out here, young men are out here looking for people to look up to. So I think the four of us, a few others, should be those shining examples and shining lights as to what manhood looks like, what masculinity looks like, unapologetic masculinity looks like, to be able to stand on our square, well, no matter what it is. If we sat here long enough, I'm sure that we would disagree on some political idea, we would agree about some religious idea or something along those lines.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
That's
but
fine.
We can be disagreeable with. We can disagree without becoming disagreeable.
Yes,
and
sir.
That's what a lot of masculinity that we're lacking. They are claiming, the notorious they are claiming that men are emotional. The men today don't know how to take control. They don't know how to regulate their emotions and all kind of other nonsense. Well, they're looking at the wrong type of men. We have to exemplify the right type of men. So those people, the Myron Gaines and these individuals who are clearly grifting, in my estimation, they don't want to be part of the Manosphere or anything else, and that's fine by me. But I do think that we ought to paint a positive image, so when people look at the Manosphere, they can say, okay, here's an example of some good, solid brothers who are telling and teaching some good information about hitting the gym, eating right, exercising, becoming the best version of yourself, making sure that you're reading, taking care of your health, take care of your family, don't have a bunch of babies out of wedlock. And we could go on and on about all the positive things that I think that men should be doing.
Yeah. Shout out to the white feminists passed the ball to the Black women and they ran with it. Shout out to him. Shout out to my man, the angry man in the house. Shout out to that brother. He said that the Black Manosphere was the first time Black men were able to separate ourselves from the negative stereotypes that have plagued us for decades, only to have us pull into new negative stereotypes. As I actually got Angry Man on one of the thumbnails too, and we're going to talk about that. Angry Man, if you ever wanted to tap in, feel free to tap in at some point, brother. But I'm going to show you guys something. And shout out to the Angry Man. He's one of the pioneers in the space. But there's been a lot of consternation about what the Manosphere is, what it's not. And I would say these guys are the Manosphere extremes. Like you said, it was a grift for the most part. But the Manosphere has evolved. It's a loose organization with different men from different backgrounds. And let's look at this. Hold tight. All right. So, like I said, guys, it took me a lot of time to put this stuff together. These were the pioneers, some of the pioneers of the Manosphere. We got the Angry Man that's in the house. We got O'Shea Duke Jackson, Donovan Sharp. And I will argue that at one point, and Dr. Thunder, you correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin Samuels was in the Manosphere. Now, some say that Kevin won't Manosphere, but that's not true. I would disagree that he wasn't Manosphere. I will argue that Kevin at one point was in the Manosphere. he began to distance himself as he was beginning to make more money, and he was beginning to change his brand because it was controversial. But I remember a podcast with O'Shea, Angry Man, Donovan Sharp, LAR Movement, and it was called The Brother Pill, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Dunn. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact name, but you're remembering correctly. I'll say that Kevin definitely was Black Manosphere. It wasn't just Manosphere. He was Black.
He was Black Manosphere, right?
Specifically Black Manosphere. He was on a show that Donovan Sharp had called The Seven. It was called The Six, and then it was called
Yes,
The
sir.
Seven and The Six.
Right.
That was
right.
one of my favorite shows.
Mhm.
And the folks that were on there was like Minister Jap. You had a CGA was on there at one point.
He was up there at one point, right?
Myron Gaines was on there. A bunch of heavies. He put together a heck of a panel. It was really good topics. It was on a Sunday. It's a Sunday show. It's one of my favorite shows in this space.
Right. And so when people say that Kevin wasn't Manosphere, that's not true. And what folks don't understand, anytime you say anything about Black relationships or Black women in general, a lot of times you're going to be grouped in the Manosphere. It's not because you say you Manosphere. I always call myself Manosphere adjacent. But like I tell people, I've always been kosher. I've always advocated for boys. I've always advocated for men. When I was doing some of my seminal work in graduate school at UNC, some of my papers was on Black male advocacy and boys. When I worked in law enforcement, it was on Black male advocacy and boys. And even my whole life has been about male advocacy and trying to help boys and help men transverse this current thing that we're dealing with. But these guys, there were guys before Angry Man, Kevin, Donovan, and O'Shea, and you had men like Black Ram 313. He was one of the first pioneers, General Tito. I didn't really know Tito back then, but those guys were doing a lot of different things as well. But the Manosphere over time, so Black men understand that you're not going to really make a lot of money advocating for Black men. You ain't going to make no money. And so a lot of guys came in with good intentions trying to help Black men, but they realized it was money, but it wasn't money unless you became controversial. And what I've learned, Dr. L, Dr. Dunn, in A Peaceful Life is that people don't want to really pay you for your professional expertise. They want something for nothing. I've had guys to say, oh, yeah, I want to do a talk with you and whatever. Okay, fine. When I tell them my price, which is cheap, they never get back in contact with you. I'm a licensed professional. I'm not no fake or no quack. I'm a real therapist. I didn't go, as I always tell Dr. Dunn, Dr. L, Chicken George State University. I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, the home of Michael Jordan. And so a lot of times we tend to minimize the Manosphere, but like I said, we're not no large card-carrying conglomerate of men. We're from different worldviews, different backgrounds, different political affiliations. And when we heard the conversations from some of the big dogs like these guys, it resonated with us. And I'm gonna tell you what I used to think, Dr. Dunn and Dr. L and Peaceful Life. I think a lot of men, when they came into YouTube, we thought in order to be successful, you had to be part of the Manosphere. You don't have to. You can create your own niche. The YouTube is broad. You don't have to be in no Manosphere. And a lot of people disassociated with it because you had the extremes like the Myron Gaines of the world, the Sneakos, the Andrew Tates, even though he said he's not Manosphere. I don't think. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, so Solo, I just wanted to mention Solo TV 84.
Solo TV 84, right.
Six or the Six. And actually Solo TV 84 is who introduced Myron and Fresh.
Right.
That's why there is a Fresh and Fit podcast. And Myron actually he got his start by calling in to Donovan Sharp's show. And then he was a person that was regularly calling in, and then that ended up turning into something. So it's interesting. And look, I'm not saying what I'm saying to be exhaustive. There are a lot of people that I didn't say and that haven't been said yet.
That's true.
That are important to the space. I also will say, and to your point, I'm not officially Black Manosphere or any of that. I have collaborated with a number of folks. I interviewed Angry Man, And Dr. L and I have had collaborations. Me and you've had collaborations. And I interviewed Solo TV 84, Donovan Sharp, also O'Shea, and a number of folks, in the space, BGS, LAR movement. We had a show.
LAR movement, right?
Yeah, that's right. We had a show on. It was a Sunday show called Case Closed, and it was being moderated by Ike Ogiamian. And we used to know Ike Ogiamian. One of the sort of nicknames was Super Chat Jesus, because he was the one that was on Kevin Samuel's shows. He kept giving those $500 super.
$500. Yep, sure did.
So the space is very diverse. It's a very diverse space, and you have a lot of folks that are adjacent to the space, as you said. I'd regard myself as being more adjacent to the space, but I think that the space is critically important. It's critically important
right,
for men to have a place where we can come and we can have frank conversations about the things that are most important. Politics, about relationship dynamics, and religion. Those are things that are they're very important to me, and those are things that I frequently talk about on my show, with an angle towards the interest of Black men and boys. That I'm talking about those things in relationship to how they impact Black men and boys. And when I came into the space, however many years ago it was very organic. It was very organic. The first actual sort of Manosphere person that I interacted with, that I listened to their content, was Solo TV 84.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. And then that just basically led to other content creators, and I started reaching out to folks and having interesting interactions. I'm an academic, but unfortunately, the academic environment is not really open to having the kind of frank conversation, which is, I think, the most important conversations to be having right now. Is what is going on right now. This empowerment propaganda is literally destroying the world. It's literally destroying everyone, but you're supposed to not say anything about it and act like everything's okay. Manosphere is a space where you can at least have that conversation.
Mm-hmm. And also Obsidian was one as well. He's been part of it. But Obsidian absolutely. Definitely was part of it. He did blogs, wrote vlogs. But listen, for whatever reason, men went their own way, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna let Peace talk in a minute. But people always assume that we're not professionals. I am professional, and I've always been kosher, and I've always advocated for men. This was me in my glory years when I was in junior college at Pitt Community College. Hold tight. Before there was the Manosphere, I was. Before there was the internet, I was. I was that signal male crying out in the wilderness for justice and equality for those that are downtrodden and broken, those that are voiceless. I was the kosher clinician before I was the kosher clinician on the internet. My plight and my war cry for justice and humanity is nothing fake. But I've always been kosher. And sit back and get this kosher fire. Hello everyone. Is there equality in America, fact or fantasy? First of all, I would like to salute all fellow human beings, and most graciously those who are beacons of light for justice and righteousness. To vocally explain the tenets of equality, fact, or fantasy, I must begin with the combination of two alphabets, I and F, which spells there's no respect of person, but gives protection to all of them that fear him. So therefore, I ask you this profound and non-scholastic question. If there was equality in America, will I be standing here today? You decide, fact or fantasy.
This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Connection.
All right, guys. Shout out to everybody. I've been doing this for years. Before there was the internet, I've been coaching, man. You know, I had the Gumby and the high top fade, man. I've been killing the game for years, man, advocating for boys and men. Shout out to my man Hashim Shabazz with that 5. Shout out also, I don't know who this goes to. Hold tight. Shout out to this person, Nighthawk. What does it say?
Nightcall.
He said, hello, everyone. Do you think that an increase in single mothers and lack of positive fathers figures in the homes contribute to the growth of the manosphere in the United States? No doubt. I'll let Roger, 100%. I'll let Roger answer that. And then also shout out to Glorious Love. She said, you may need to hire a PR firm, establish your goals and your objectives. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. I don't know who she's talking to. I don't know if she's talking to me. I don't know who she's talking to, but yeah, maybe I do need to do that. But Peace of Life, what do you think about what was said, brother? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me check. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I always do with everything else, and I look at causation, and one of the easy ways to find out motivations is I always look at the money tells you the truth. You can only cook the books a certain amount of way before we figure out that you're committing fraud or something of that nature. And even with my prior history in law enforcement, you start from investigation, you start with the foundation of everything. When I look at the manosphere or any of these spaces, I look at certain things: truth versus lie. Does what this individual is saying match up with the general realities of the society that we're in? You see, the issue with the manosphere goes to the money. We talk about Morgan Stanley's economy, the amount of women that are going to be single, the amount of resources that are not being passed around with marriages and relationships. And that puts a strain on the economy, especially with automation, job losses, economic struggles. And these men, young men, are not marrying. They're not stepping up. They're not, quote unquote, according to guys like Scott Galloway, doing the right thing, manning up, becoming better, 10 times better to marry women that are lesser qualities than their great grandma. And that's a problem. They don't want young men to have self-esteem. They want them to be mindless droids walking around, marrying women, holding to a social contract that does no longer exist anymore. They want young men to be traditional, have traditional values, be traditional providers, be 2 to 3 times better than young women that are not measuring up to the qualities of traditional women or have traditional values or offer traditional values in relationships. And that's the fundamental problem. The truth throws a monkey wrench into the system. Mm-hmm. It disrupts the system. It disrupts the flow of capital. It disrupts the marriage industrial complex and everybody that profits from it, the lawyers, the people from child support, the state. Because if the young men are not marrying, we see what happened in South Korea. We see what happened in China with the high divorce rates. It is not only is the population problem, we have schools closing down, we have all these problems economically. So you can't attack women because women do 80% plus of the spending. And not only that, we live in a gynocentric environment. The Black community is basically a matriarchal environment. I have always attacked, and I've called many of the men, I've said they're led by women. I'm not going to say the word, the be-led men. It's a matriarchal gynocracy. And we don't have a lot of masculine men that will stand on principle because they usually get crucified in that environment. That's why we have a lot of pander bears, and we have a lot of men that identify themselves through women, and their masculinity is identified through women, as opposed to being proven their masculinity on the gauntlet of manhood, separate from women. And they don't like what we're saying, because how dare men want reciprocation? How dare men have standards? How dare men want a woman to treat them with decency and respect? How dare a man want a woman to take care of the man who takes care of her? And provide him reciprocation. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hear nothing about what men want. Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
No, I agree.
They'll call you a misogynist, or they'll call you all kinds of names. So the idea is to silence men, silence expectation, get men back out here like mindless droids performing for women without expectation.
Yes, sir. I agree. Shout out to my man King J. Ruse 78, Dr. Thunder, salute. We need to have a place for Black men to be able to talk and help each other out. Salute to Dr. L, Kosher and Peaceful Life. Gregory Scotland said that a coach of this space was criticized for hating women, but look at how females like Crimson Cure, Sister George, Toya, Jessica X, Maggie Under the Veil were treated with kindness and respect. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I see you over there shaking your head. I'm gonna let you talk, Dr. Thunder. Hold tight.
Okay.
I see you shaking your head, but back to I've heard people say that Kevin wasn't Manosphere. Kevin was Manosphere at one point. Anybody get thrown into Manosphere if you have similar talking points, they're synonymous to dating and relationships, and it's not synonymous to the current zeitgeist that we live in, which means that men must bow down to the whims of women and not be able to speak and say what they want to say. And so, like I said, O'Shea has always been a catalyst. He brought a lot of men in. The Angry Man has been one of the bigger names. These guys, many were called Manosphere 2.0, but they were forerunners that came before them. I would say that you, me, Dr. L, and all us, we're like the new X-Men or whatever you call us. But my point is, these guys were some of the forerunners. But what people didn't understand is that there were professional men in the Manosphere too. And this is us. Y'all, now, Dr. L, you see Roger over there, man. Peaceful Life over there taking that dump, man. You see him over there? That's Seton Hall right there. You see Seton Hall on the back side, Dr. L?
No, man.
Do you see him, Dr. L? The guy dunking the ball? Yeah, that's my boy Peaceful Life when he was back in the day, man. See, I said I had to give you this as a tribute and salute to my boy, my man Peaceful Life. But we got Dr. Thunder. We got myself, a licensed therapist. We got you, Dr. L, in the house. The Manosphere is also professional men. It's professional men like Dr. L. It's professional men like myself. It's professional men like Dr. Thunder, Dr. T.S. Johnson, and also my man Peaceful Life over there dunking the ball. Played at Seton Hall. This brother played at Seton Hall, played with Terry DeHare. Well, I think Terry came before under him, but we're just not some loose organization of men. We're men from different worldviews and different backgrounds that were having the same problems with modern dating and relationships.
100%.
Dr. Thunder, you were married at one point. I think your story resonates with a lot of men. I've been married for 33 years. Dr. L is the professional man. He was married at one point. My man Peaceful Life was married at one point. T.S. Johnson, who was an academic, was married at one point. So the Manosphere is also professional men too. You had your catalyst, and even though some men have disassociated from the Manosphere for whatever reason, because it become a doo-doo show. People have their own agendas, egos, and so people say, okay, I'm gonna disassociate, and that's fine. I mean, I've never said I'm a card-carrying member. I'm my own man. I'm an independent. I do what I want to do because no man gonna tell me how to act. I'm gonna do what I want to do. But we're professional men in this space as well. What would you say about that, Dr. Thunder? Because you was about to say something early. What do you think about that? Manosphere professionals.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my second marriage. And I have, I've shared, biographical information, certain things that are considered somewhat private. I mean, I try to be careful about being too private, but I'll share things if I think it'll be helpful to men. I made a lot of mistakes, and so I talk about things to try to, help folks out so that they don't have to make those same mistakes that I made. But with respect to being a professional, I've been performing professionally as a musician since I was 9 years old. Right, I'm 51. I've been on national television multiple times. CBS Sunday Morning did a story on me when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the Phil Donahue show.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I
was on BET Jazz Central a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in national papers and all this kind of stuff as a performer, and and I went I went to college and got my degrees. And I am I'm a professor, a full professor, a tenured full professor at a major university, Big Ten. Okay. And Dr. Thunder is not just a clever marketing strategy. I have a doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I'm not saying this to brag or anything.
No.
I'm saying that because I also, and look, I'm 6'2", and at one point I was living in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 420 bench press.
Whoa.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I was having the same issues that many men were having. And
Yes, sir.
so
Right.
and so when one of the ways that folks will come in and they'll try to troll in your chat and stuff like that is try to call you dusty and try to say this and that, and you're an incel, or you're that, or you're this other thing, you can't get women, or whatever it is. And none of that stuff is true about me, but I was still having the same issues that you hear men struggling with today. So I think it's important for folks like us to be in the space, to be willing to have these conversations, because I think I don't want to say demystifies, but it makes it make people aware that they're not actually the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that we can't all do things to improve. And I talk about this frequently. I can improve. I've made mistakes. I can do things better. And I tell my, the people that listen to me the same thing. All of us can do better than we're doing. Sure, money, muscles, and game. There are aspects of each of those that I think that are important. But even if you do the money, muscles, and game, even if you do I have a prestigious position, I'm a tenured professor, I'm a this, I'm a that, you still are going to have the same issues. You're still going to have the same issues in this environment. And so you need to know how to navigate those, those problems. And if people like us will not have these conversations, I think that we'd be doing folks a major disservice.
Yeah, Angry Man, if you're in the house, man, feel free to come up, man. I'm going to send you the link if you want to. If not, no big problem. This is only for Angry Man. If he wants to come up, if he can't, I understand. Dr. L, you are a professional. What do you think about these talking points? You're a professional doctor. You had a distinguished career in law enforcement. I started off my first 9 years in law enforcement, 2 years with the Department of Corrections as a mental health CO, did 7 years Department of Juvenile Justice. Got my bachelor's degree, then went back and taught school for special ed kids, and I got my master's from Carolina. But what you think about this? Because the Manosphere is also with professional men like Peaceful Life, being a former Big East ball player, Dr. T.S. Johnson, that was married. He talked about his struggles. What do you think about that, man? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying when I say to professionalize the space. These brothers who have accomplished something need to be louder. And we're doing the best we can. I'm not saying that we're not, but we need to be louder to shout out those voices of people who are grifters, who are in it, just for themselves, and creating the type of messages that we saw in the documentary. They're negative, and they're, in my estimation, they're detrimental. These young men are impressionable. They're going to follow after them. I have a problem. I've continued to talk about people who don't have credentials, degrees, or it's not even about degrees or credentials. It's about having some life experience. I've continued to talk about that, and people going after grifters and people who go out. Listen, when I was in church, I talked about it as well, and I have an issue with people who don't know what they're talking about, who are trying to sell you something, snake oil salesmen,
yes,
and
sir.
other pejoratives there. So I have an issue with that. So I want people to become the best versions of themselves for themselves. And so, I'm having a conversation in the chat with the Glorious Love, about either we got to go our separate ways or we have to coalesce around a central theme and idea. It's either professionalize the space or do what others have done. And that is negate the space and say, I'm not associated with that. So if we're going to be associated with it, I think it's going to be something that we need to do on a level that says, okay, here's what I want to join into. And that's the crossroad that we're at. It's either seen as a positive thing or it's a negative thing that we got to kind of run away from. And to me, it is a positive space as long as you're doing positive things. So let's do the positive things. We're all putting out content that it says in some way, form, or fashion, improve, work on yourself. And that's always been my message, and I think it's going to continue to always be my message, is that we need to improve ourselves before we point the finger at someone else and say what they're not doing and how these women need to do this and the government this. The first thing that we need to do is take a look at ourselves and understand and expect things of ourselves. So can't talk about big back women and you're not in the gym yourself. Right.
No,
So
I agree with you. I agree.
We got to do what we got to do. Right.
Yes, sir.
So let's take accountability. Let's take responsibility, and let's get ourselves together first as men. And then I know that this is a trope, and it's an idea, but we got to step up more to the fact that if we see things going awry in our communities, then it's up to us as men to join in. And it's up to us as men to say, okay, here's where we're going to draw the line. You had a great conversation with the sister Marion last night. And if she's saying that, she was saying that, men need to learn how to do things or build things again. Well, take that as a critique. First, I was kind of like, what is she talking about? But then, as I thought about it, listen, can you change a tire? Can you sheetrock a wall in your house? And if you can't, then let's take a look at ourselves and say, okay, maybe this is something that I can work on to become a better person. Not just because a woman wants me to do it, but listen, I can save some money if I learn how to sheetrock my house. I can save some money if I learn how to paint. I can save some money if I know how to fix my own lawnmower. Little things. So that type of thing, and then you pass that knowledge on to someone else down the road. So I'll end.
Well, the only problem with that, which in theory that sounds good, but we're building things for women. They don't offer anything of substance to men. Men to build homes.
So why are we? So no, I'm not saying to do it for women. I'm saying to do it for yourself.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Because even if you are SYSBM, if you become a passport bro, or even if you become monk or whatever you want to do, you still have the skills and abilities and the talents to do that. Now, if it comes to, I meet a young lady later on, and she can now benefit because of the place that I've gone to. So this is where we got to draw the line at. We're telling men to become the best version of themselves for themselves. Go to school to educate yourself. Learn a trade to educate yourself. Take a class at Home Depot to educate yourself. And therefore, you make yourself a better person. You become valuable to the community. When we talk about Kevin Samuels said it was really, it was like 6 things he said to become a high value man. I've always reduced it down to 2. Number 1 is money, and number 2 is to become valuable to the group. Ask yourself, are you valuable to the group? If I need somebody to help me with some type of music production or something like that, I got Dr. Thunder I can call. If you need some legal advice or some law enforcement advice, you can call A Peaceful Life, right? So they have become valuable to the group. And so that's the first thing, become men who are valuable to the group in some way, shape, form, or fashion. If we need clinical help or we need something like that, we got you, coach, who we can call. And there's other men out there who are valuable to the group. So forget about chasing after women. This is the focus I want to try to get away from. Is focusing on, okay, these women. No. We're men who are valuable to the group. Full stop.
Okay. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
That's the real track I've been trying to keep it on. Is keeping men on the rail track of masculinity and manhood, and your competency being developed separate from women, being squared away, whether you have a woman in your life or not. Whether women should not be the objective of your life, your purpose and your competency. If you happen to, a woman comes in your life and benefits from that, a woman that's following your leadership or signs onto your program, that's fine. But the problem comes is that when you add today's modern women into it as a reward, the whole plane crashes. Unfortunately, I got a whole bunch of homeless dudes I got to motivate. You know what I mean? I got dudes sleeping out of the Old Country Buffet's trash can. When you just keep women out of the conversation, to my reach to young men. We'll deal with the women later. Stay on the railroads. Don't add modern women as a reward, okay? And we're fine. Otherwise, we're going to have a bunch of homeless men, all right? And I'm trying to keep Scott Galloway them. If you want to deal with the young men, I can get young men to come out and work on an engine with me, help build an engine. I can get guys to go run 5-on-5. I can get guys to work on a science project and everything else like that. Just as long as you don't mention the women, you're fine with the young men. But as soon as you tell them they need to be better for these women, you might as well just go ahead and consider the plane crashed. It's coming out of the sky. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I agree with that. I do agree with Dr. L about men being, but here's I agree with Dr. L what he's saying about men being useful and being industrious. But my only pushback, but not to Dr. L, but in general, after we do that for ourselves as a collective, some of these women think these gifts that we have as men is going to be given to them for free, and they want us to come to them and support them in the name of Black love and Black community. But I've always said many times that if you haven't been trained or raised to honor and respect men, I'm not giving you my free attention, my free time, or nor my talents for free. I don't believe that just because your skin color is Black, you're part of my conscious tribe. I don't believe that. What's your take on what I was about to say, Dr. Thunder? Go ahead, brother.
Wait a minute. What was the and by the way, I put a couple links in the chat there.
Man, don't even worry about it, man. You in La La Land too.
No. We're reading the chats. We're engaging and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. I also before Dr. Thunder goes, so I started a poll on my channel. So if anybody wants to come over to my channel, hit the like button, answer the poll, then come back to wherever you're watching and that. So go ahead.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Just don't say modern women. That's all. Don't sink the ship, guys. Don't crash the plane.
Well, I will say this in with reference to the doing things for yourself. I actually, that's a talking point that I tend to resist when I hear women make it. Hey, girl, just do this for yourself. Learn how to do this thing for yourself. Don't do it for a man. Don't do it for anybody else. Just do it for yourself. Learn how to do it for yourself. The issue that I have with it is it comes off as being a selfish thing. So the way that I frame that same idea is you do it for something greater than yourself. So because if you're fit, if you're taking care of yourself, you're eating right, you're learning new skills, everything else, that puts you in a position to be able to do something for other people, to be able to provide some service to other people. And also, since if you think about what the natural order is, God over man, man over wife, wife over children, men are to be on their purpose. And so we are to develop everything that we have as an act of worship. This is as an act of worship and an act of taking something that we've been given and presenting it back to God in a more cultivated state. That is our duty and responsibility. And women could do the same thing, right? But the issue there is, since the natural order, men are over their wife, not just over any woman. If a woman is doing those things, these positive things, she could actually be doing those as a way to serve the person that is above them. And I know that's like, we're not supposed to talk about that. We're supposed to act like everybody's on the same level. No, everybody's not on the same level. Jesus, it's going to be Resurrection Sunday in the West tomorrow. Jesus didn't consider himself as equal to, with respect to what his station was, right? He said that the Father is greater than I am. Right? He didn't say the Father was better than him. That would be an issue of a different substance. No, same substance, but he recognized that God was greater than he was. So it's like a serving upwards sort of dynamic. Anyhow, I'll get off of that.
I'm gonna let you hold on, please. I'm gonna let you talk. Actually, I'll let you answer this. And I understand what Dr. L was saying. I understand what he's saying. I respect that.
Not really a pushback against what Dr. L was saying.
No, not at all. But listen, Look, we all love each other as brothers. It's okay. If y'all disagree with me, I don't care about that. That's fine. We got to challenge one another in the spirit of brotherly love. And I don't care if any of you brothers push back against me. That's fine. As long as we respectful and we are respectful men. But Quiet Storm said that it's the same playbook. Men need to do better. Men need to step up. Men need to increase their skills. Men need to do more or do search or whatever. I would argue that fundamentally generations of men have always done that. I would even argue now that men that cannot build things with their hands, they still build things to show their love for their wives. They might cut the grass or they might do whatever. And it's never enough. And then on top of that, we're doing all this building and trying to be supportive, even though we're doing it for ourselves. I get that. But what kind of quality of women are we getting that would deserve that kind of service that they're asking for? That would be my major point of contention. Go ahead, Peaceful Life. Go ahead, brother.
Well, that's the thing. Like what Dr. Thunder said, I totally agree with him in an idealistic environment.
Mm-hmm.
In a moral, idealistic environment where men and women are held to a social contract, I would agree with his sentiment and what he's saying. In a functional system, we're operating in a dysfunctional system, especially in the Black community and this matriarchal system. But Leslie Jones just came out the other day and said that being married is akin to being slavery. And then you have women that have been talking about they choose to bear. Men should be born in jail and earn their way out. And they totally were raised in an environment. Leslie Jones is just somebody's auntie in the Black community, some auntie, some grandmother, some sister. And I actually salute her for having the courage to tell the truth because she can afford to tell the truth. So we're asking lions to prepare themselves to build a kingdom for hyenas, which is very dangerous. We're different. The male lion can't tame a hyena. We are two functionally different groups. Now we want to start a new society with a new tribe, with a new moral code. I totally agree with Dr. Thunder and Dr. L. The reason why is they keep the women out of it because we have to keep these young boys motivated, determined, competent, developed, taking advantage of some of this money that's been handed out with these trades and these training programs, keep them functional so that when we have an opportunity, see, we as Black men can always integrate women into the mix to replace those women that have been damaged by the virus of feminism. We can build our own society. It's the men that can build. We can pull women from anywhere that are going to get on the program that Dr. Thunder is talking. But first, I have to save the young men first.
I don't think I maybe you didn't hear what I said. You didn't understand what I was saying, or I wasn't clear about expressing it. Right. I'm not saying do this stuff for women. Right. I'm just saying rather than doing it for yourself, you're doing it to serve a higher purpose. So men on their purpose we're out here doing things that we've been designed to do, following a calling. If you look at Adam, as in Adam and Eve, Adam had a purpose, and it didn't have anything to do with Eve. Right. That came way later, and that was in our case, it would be something that we would select. So I think what I'm saying is totally compatible with what it is that you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying at all.
Right. Yeah, I think we're probably on the same page, but I think what happens, we're dealing with life support. And when you're dealing with first aid and when you're dealing with, we gotta get breathing going. We got to get some heart breaks going. We got to get that heart beating again. The issue fundamentally is we cannot have a bunch of young men completely check out. Mm-hmm. That's the dangers that I'm concerned about.
Dr. L, I want you to answer, read this, brother. Shout out to Night Call. He said, Dr. L, most of the quality skills that make a man, would you say is something that is taught, demonstrated to boys? If no was around, how does, I don't know. Okay. I'll let you read that, brother. I think that's for you. But what do you think about what Quiet Storm said? And then this goes back to the Manosphere upper and also middle class, because there are upper class, middle class of Black men that have the same sentiment as what Quiet Storm is saying. And I carefully curated this. It's never enough. You're a professional man, Dr. L. You share what you want to share about your relationships in the past. But what you say is a competent, educated man that worked in the police force now as a doctor and also as a professor. you being a working class, I'm not working class, a professional man, did you feel like there were times that your good was never good enough as it relates to the sentiment of the Quiet Storm? Go ahead, brother.
All right, man. You're packing me down with a lot of stuff here. Okay, so first,
All right. Well, hold on. Well, it's loaded. Okay, it's loaded. It's loaded. You're right. And I apologize.
I think I got it.
It's loaded. Okay, go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Dr. L, don't upset the ladies on your channel too, Dr. L. Don't upset those ladies. We gotta go back over there. Just remember that.
I gotta keep the super chats covered. Man. I gotta keep the super chats covered.
Your emails. Check your emails.
Right. Go ahead.
So first,
go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Dr. L, most of the qualities and skills that makes a man, would you say it's something that is taught and demonstrated to boys? If no one's around, how does a boy learn those skills? All right, so here's exactly what I'm saying. I think we're all saying the same thing here. Even in what I said before, I said you take those skills and abilities that you learned, fixing them, lawnmower, hanging sheetrock, whatever, and you bring that to the next generation. I said that. We're all saying the same thing. I have constantly will continue to push back on those brothers who say, forget the community, let it burn. And let's just get on the plane and just go somewhere else, because somebody has to raise these boys directly or indirectly, whether it's coaching a team, being around, teaching kids how to change oil, whatever. Somebody should be doing it. Listen, and I've constantly said this. Anybody who's watched my channel knows I was that boy. I was a boy who was raised without a father. It was the men in church who helped me to get to a certain place. It was me going to the boys club, getting into fights, and the older kids schooling me about things. It was me at my summer camp, when my mother was able to afford it, having male figures. I needed that. I had strong uncles. I needed that type of guidance. So this particular question of what makes a man, listen, sometimes it's not there. And even after all of the issues and systems that I had been through, that I had lived with, as far as my uncles, the church, and this and that, I still, when I went to the police department, felt inadequate. I felt inadequate and I felt unprepared for life. I became a supervisor of, I tell the story all the time. I became a supervisor at the age of 27. At the age of 27, I'm a sergeant in a large police department. And now I have to tell cops, white male cops who had been cops for 30 years. I'm 27. They had been police officers for 30 years, that their report was incorrect, that the report wasn't right, or do this, go stand over there. So that was an incredible amount of anxiety on my part. So I needed male guidance about how to navigate that type of world. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my education, the reason I went back to school is because I needed to increase my own level of self-worth, own competence. That's the first 20 videos on my channel is all about competence, looking at yourself, becoming the best version of yourself. And I understand that some people will say, whatever that comment was that about let the community burn, or it's always the same thing, blah blah blah. Listen, there are boys out there, there are men out there who, I am not the only one. They are suffering. They put on good fronts. The way that they analyze the world, the way that they see the world, the reason that they come to these channels a lot of times is because they want to learn how to get women, and that's their only measure of how to be a man. If you ask them, what is about manhood that they want to aspire to, it's about how many women they can get. Well, that's why we're trying to change that and say, okay, can you fix anything? Can you do anything? Can you balance a checkbook? Mm-hmm. Can you help to build a house? There's other aspects that we have to recognize about being a man, and these are things I've taught to my son. My son now comes to me, and we talk about business, and we talk about just how to navigate in this world. And one of the last things we talk about is women. Those times will come, and we have to understand that women has to be put on the back burner. The first thing that has to come is self-improvement and self-development. And to the men out there who are doing it, that's great. That's fine. That's fantastic. But the next thing, as Dr. Thunder and the Peaceful Life have said, is you gotta put this to the next generation. You got to become, we are the sages. We're in our 40s and 50s. If these 30-year-olds, they are the uncles now. They're the big bros now. and they have to learn how to share their wisdom and knowledge to the other generations. And if they want to sit on their hands and not help the next generation, then we'll have a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds who won't know the things that we know. And we'll have a bunch of insecure beta males out here thinking that all they can do is buy women. And that is the wrong message that I want to give. I want to give a message of hope, of clarity, of wisdom, standing on your square, being masculine, staying your peace, knowing your craft, your skill, and being competent and confident. And the only way to do that is to have other people help you along the way. So I'm advocating that we help other individuals along the way to get to this particular place in life.
Yeah. And you know, I respect that, Dr. L. I mean, I've been doing it my whole life, from teaching school to being in law enforcement. I'm working with adjudicated youth. The only thing with that is that if the foundation is already corrupt, all the labor that you put in trying to guide these boys, I've seen it so many times. When they go back in these toxic communities, they only replicate what they see. Now, we understand that there's a partition of these young men that need help. I'm not necessarily against it, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm burnt out, bro. I'm not against helping men and boys. I've been doing it my whole life. I taught school for 5 years. I worked with adjudicated youth. I did community work, and I've seen it over and over again. The results really is like putting money in gas to be burnt up, because the environment is messed up. But we always ask men to rise up to the occasion. But think about the men in our generation, Dr. L, the women that nurtured the boys and the girls in the communities. They read books to the little girls. You know, they cooked the little boys pies and meals. They cooked them meals. We always ask men to do labor, but we never ask women to come back and do the same labor, like read to the girls, teach them how to be women. We never hold women to the same accountability that we hold the boys or the men. We want the men to do all the labor, which I'm not against, but I think it should be under our terms as men, not for the sake of this so-called community that I don't think exists anymore. Because the women of the past always nurtured the boys. They nurtured the girls. They taught them how to be ladies. But women now are more concerned about their careers than they are about nurturing their own kids, and also nurturing the kids in the community. Would you agree with that? Would you guys agree with that?
I would agree with that. And my stance on that is, again, first is educate yourself and become the best version of yourself for yourself.
Right.
And if you have an opportunity to give out something else, then that's fine. And to the ladies out there, why are we giving them time and attention? Why are we, they are thirsty for our attention vastly more than we are for theirs. They're sitting in their cars crying. They want men. They want to get married. Leslie Jones wants to get married, but she's now, marriage is slavery. It's all crazy. It's all crazy. We know what it is. And so I'm saying, hold the line, hold masculinity, and become the best version of yourself. And if somebody wants to get on your page, that's fine. But
Right.
I listen, we all of our careers, every single one of us, we could all point to and say this somehow, some way the community is cooked. And I'm not past that point either. I'm not saying that. I was, you did your time in law enforcement. I did 24 years, brother. Listen, I understand. I was in the communities. I was at people's houses at 2 o'clock in the morning and all that. So I understand that our community is a problem. But one of the first things we have to do is take responsibility for us and for who we are. And if the Manosphere is going to help individuals, we got to decide what we want to do as far as this Manosphere. Is it going to be a community or not? And if it is, then we got to help individuals who can make it. Everybody's not going to make it. I get that. I'm not delusional. Right. Everybody's not going to make it. Everybody don't want to hear this message. Some people are going to say, "Oh, forget it," or they're going to hear the message and they're going to run back to the community. I understand, taking certain items, people out of certain places, but you can't take the place out of them, and they got to go back to their home environment where the mother's going to be overbearing. Listen, I'm not unaware of that, but I am saying we can plant the seeds, and hopefully some 15-year-old will say, who can watch this and say, "Hey, you know what? I didn't have a dad, but these brothers up here, Dr. Thunder, A Peaceful Life, Coach Clinician, are doing something, and I want to be like this." I know young brothers today who are in their early 20s still binge watching Kevin Samuels.
That's true. That's true. Very
true. Why are they doing that? Because they want that message.
That's true. I agree with that.
Put the message out there.
Yes, sir. I totally agree. Shout out to my man Justin Moore for that $20. He said, thanks for the information, insight, fellas. Keep up the good work. Shout out to Justin Moore. Thank you, brother, for showing love. Also, let me read this other super chat. I want to share some more because I got a lot to get into, guys. And then also shout out, I don't know if this is Dr. Thunder. Is that one of your people, Dr. L or Dr. Thunder? Men have always been traditional from being active dads to being better than themselves. But no matter what today's modern women think, men aren't doing enough. And I agree with that sentiment. And that's why I got the picture about the manosphere, upper class and also middle class, because I don't have a problem with asking men to ride, but what are we asking women to do? That would be my retort. What are we asking women to do, Dr. L, Peaceful Life, and Dr. Thunder? Go ahead, brother.
Well,
So look, I wanted to say something about what was just said previously first,
Mhm.
and then I'll address that. So the way I think about it with this issue of, it's burning, let it burn, it's already ashes, save yourself, you're wasting your time, doing whatever. The way I think about this is, it's like, the illustration I've used, it's like you're on a two-person boat, paddle boat, and you're out in the middle of a lake, and for some reason you don't have life vests. You can swim well enough barely to save yourself. The other person can't swim at all, and what ends up happening is somehow some malfunction with the boat, and then you both end up in the water, and you try to help the other person, but they're flailing wildly because they're afraid of drowning, and they don't care who they take out, because of fear. So you tell them, you either cut that out right now, or else you're getting left out here by yourself, right? Because that's the only thing that you actually can do. Because if you mess around and still try to deal with them, then you're both dead, right? And that's the way I see this scenario. So I am all for helping people that are willing to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to fight with you. We're not arguing. I don't have to, wade through a bunch of crap before we get to the, to the point where you actually listen to what I'm telling you and conduct yourself accordingly, or I just have to just leave you. Right. And then I think there's also, another aspect of this is like, how old are the people that you're talking to? Okay. Because I would say largely especially when you talk about women, if a woman is beyond a particular age, it's done. There's not anything that you're going to be able to do.
Right. I agree. I agree. I totally agree.
However,
I totally agree.
However, girls, young boys, and women will say up to maybe 25 or something like that. Then there's still, I think that there potentially is still hope. So it's sort of a nuanced sort of subject matter. I don't like the idea of just letting it burn. If it already is on fire and it already is going down, I'm good with salvaging and pulling out as many people as I can, but they can't resist me. You cannot resist me because you're going to kill me too. And so that's the way I think about that. As far as what we're asking for women to do, so the primary issue with feminism is it's trying to eliminate all responsibility and all consequence from female behavior, while still giving to them, rights, so-called rights, right? And a right is, for instance, is it's a privilege absent duty, right? So that there's no duty. So because as soon as you start saying, hey, here are the duties that I expect, then that's misogyny. Although they're totally great
Right.
with telling
Right.
us what the duties that we're supposed to
Right.
do.
Right. I totally agree.
So that's the dynamic that I see as being problematic. I mean,
I totally
look,
agree.
for a
Totally
woman
agree.
that is worthy, I'm willing to do, you know, whatever my part is. But for a
Right.
woman that is not even willing to, you know, do what her duty is, and you can't even have the conversation about
Right.
what their duty is,
Right.
then what are you going to do?
Right. Right. Dr. L, I think this is for you, brother. I don't know if this is one of your people. Go ahead.
No, that one's on my channel.
That's okay. He says, sorry, Dr. L, but the community is cooked. There were times Noah and the flood, Sodom and Gomorrah, even in infinite power of God had to restart things. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, man. Yeah, that's a valid point. Sometimes in order to get, you know, I've seen all the time throughout scripture where God destroyed and wiped off the Amalekites and he started all over again, because when people's hearts are hard and people's hearts are not pure and they don't want to change, I think our heart is right, and the nature of men is always to fix things, but fixing things without consequence means nothing. I understand there is a partition of boys that need help, but unfortunately, sometimes that's the casualties of civil disobedience. In my opinion, this person said, as a productive black man who has no kids, I refuse to fix any problems that had nothing to do with it. If I want to fly to another country, that's my prerogative. How would you respond to that, Dr. L?
Listen, I mean, I think I've beaten this horse to death. I am talking about being an example. If you don't, I'm not asking anybody to fix a problem that they didn't make. I'm not asking anyone to do anything that would be outside of their scope of expertise. Here's what I'm saying. If you are competent in and of yourself, and maybe one day you are outside in your front yard working on your lawnmower, and some boy comes up and says, "Oh man, can I watch you fix it," or something like that, then do that.
Okay, fair.
That's what I'm saying.
Fair.
I coached when my kids were in school, when my kids were school age, from the time that they were 6 or 7 and for about 10 years straight, I coached, and I picked kids up to bring them to all different types of practices. On their way home, I bought them McDonald's. I bought them something to eat. I did that. And a lot of them obviously came from single parents. I did that type of thing. People are involved at church. You can get involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Shoot, you can donate money to the Boys or Girls Clubs or something like that. Make sure they stay open. I'm talking about doing simple things like that. I'm not asking you to take a kid into your home and spend the night and become a big brother. You don't want to do those types of things, don't do them. You want to get on a plane and go over somewhere and don't do it. But my frame of reference is always going to be my own experience, and I appreciated anyone who did those types of things. And I definitely think that if you have kids and you put your kids into any sports program, or even if they're not in sports, maybe they're into acting or into whatever, gymnastics or piano lessons, if you can help bring another kid to that piano lesson or to wherever, then you should do that. That's all I'm saying.
Respect. I respect that. Go ahead, Roger. You were about to say something, brother. Go ahead.
No, I think that these excellent opinions, Dr. Thunder, Dr. L, give a great perspective on things. And I think we definitely help the young men, whether directly or indirectly, by our messaging. And my only thing is that we got to understand also too, like all 4 of us in this conversation is probably due for about a good 10 hyena bites just from having this masculine conversation about masculinity and manhood, because that community is a matriarchy. I mean, let's be honest. And
10 hyena bites, man. You funny, man.
A piece. Each one of us. Not
30 lashes. How many lashes Dr. Thunder gonna get in Dr. L? No, Dr. L, I'm gonna get about 40 lashes, man. I don't know how many lashes Dr. L gonna get.
Get the crap bit out of you talking this nonsense. Because the only message that's why the panda bears are so successful in the community, the community is because they put forth the message that's approved by the matriarchal queens, which is that many-ish men are trash. It's all men's fault. Men are a bunch of bums, uneducated derelicts, and degenerates. And it's their fault because they're around here making babies all over the place and they're losers. So if you stay on that message, that's all the community is willing to accept. So what I look at is this. I see like let's say we have 4 male lions trapped in hyena kingdom with 1,000 hyenas, and we're trying to rescue them, getting them over to the lion kingdom. That's how I look at it. I hope my message can get those 4 male lions across the borderline into our territory. I look at it like that. So the only option I have is to focus on masculinity independent of women. That's like for me. If I say we're going to play basketball today and I want to reach the young men, we're going to play some 5-on-5. And if you guys come out, it's 20 of us, after this game, I'll take you guys over to Texas Roadhouse and get a steak. They're going to come out there to play ball and run. Maybe they want to beat up on the old man and get tired of me calling 20 fouls, but I still try and beat up on me. They're going to come out there and participate with me. But if I said to them, come out here and play 5-on-5 with a peaceful life, and your reward is some of those women that crashed out down at the Daytona Beach, I'm going to be out there shooting basketballs with leaves. They ain't coming. You understand what I'm saying? So I've lost the opportunity to motivate, to touch them, to reach them, or deal with their issues. The modern version of women today is just not a motivation for the young men. They're just.
Yeah, I agree.
So we got to focus on. I have no choice but to focus on masculinity independent of women. Our back is in the corner. We've got to get the chest. It's like dealing with somebody who's overdosing. You've got to get the chest compression. You got to keep the air flowing. You got to keep the airways open. You got to keep the blood flowing until you can get some Narcan into them. You got to keep them breathing, and that's where we're at right now. We got to focus on the young men, and I think black men, you're on your own.
Hold tight, because I want to get through these super chats, and also I got some more pieces I want to share. Shout out to King Pure Energy for the new member. I guess he's a member on different channels. Shout out to King Pure Energy. Hold tight, let me read this super chat real quick. Because we got a lot to get through. Shout out to AJC Facts, Interest, Feet, and Greetings. I don't know. This is one of your people, Dr. L. This is Dr. Dunn, the Peaceful Life.
Yeah, it's one of my people. Yeah,
one of your people. All right. If I click on this one of your people, guys, I'll let y'all just read the super chat because some of these people I don't know. Shout out to, I think this is me. Shout out to the podcast on the live stream. You all might have, okay. Shout out to the podcast on the live stream. You all may have different thoughts on the topic at hand, but great minds do think alike. No doubt. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. That was for me. Tim Howard gifted the Thunder 5 memberships. Shout out to Tim Howard. All right. So he gonna dunk on him. All right. So there are professional men from professional backgrounds, working class men. I was laughing at Dr. L when he was talking about emotional labor. What do you guys think about the Manosphere upper class, professional men, the upper class, middle class men? They have fought to be good men for their wives, and it's never enough. I'll let one of you guys respond to that real quick. Keep it under 2 minutes because I got some more stuff I want to share with you guys. But go ahead. Anybody want to take that? Go ahead.
I'll jump in with that. So the upper, I don't know very many upper scale men, but listen, I think that men have been, I think we've alluded to this, where men have been taught that happy wife, happy life type of garbage. And
right.
I think that men need to get back to being men and understand, again, to echo what Peaceful Life is saying, we got to stop doing this for women. We got to stop doing this for women, and that includes upper scale men. And here is one of the biggest problems with marriage is that it ties men, it gives the power over to the women, state sponsored. And if you're an upper scale man, if you don't have a prenup, and if you are engaged and you are with a woman in a marriage contract with the state, then you are put yourself at a great amount of risk. And so one of the things that the Manosphere is saying is, think about those risks before you enter into that type of contract, because now everything can change. Oftentimes they do. In this space, we talk about sexless marriages. We talk about all this other type of stuff. So you got to consider that. And as a successful man, more and more successful men are saying, nah, we're good on that because we don't want to give that type of power away.
No doubt. Shout out to my man, Landon Dallas. He said, what about the black women that intentionally use members of the church, mentors, and coaches? It's intentional crush to never submit to a black man as a leader in their preferred personal lives. I agree with that. Shout out to my brother, Tim Howard, always showing love for the 5 memberships. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate the brother. You've been a stand down brother from day one. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. Shout out to Tim Howard also for getting a Peaceful Life 5 membership. Shout out to him for showing Peaceful Life, giving him 5 memberships.
So,
Okay, all right. So let's get back into it, guys. Hold tight.
Hey,
Hold tight, Doc. I'm gonna let you cook. Hold tight.
Oh, okay.
And then also the Manosphere is also working class. How many times, Dr. L, Dr. Dunn, the Peaceful Life have we heard? The working class men, blue collar men are never good enough. The mailman, the UPS driver. Shout out to Marion, but she was saying that the UPS driver will be synonymous to marrying a woman with 2 kids, which I think is foolish. But the working class man is never enough. You got to get the chick with the big back with a bonnet. Ran through with a bunch of kids, and it's never enough, because the working class is a bunch of the Manosphere is also working class men, that are truck drivers, UPS, and those men are actually invisible. They're never given the kind of respect that maybe quote unquote high value men are given, and professional men. And listen, I know what high value men mean, but I don't think a high value man is limited to the amount of money that he makes. But there are women that believe that there are men in the Manosphere that are working class, average guys that are invisible, and their $55,000 is never good enough. And they'll tell those men that you should get with baby mamas or women that got kids. How would you guys respond to that? Real quick, go ahead, Dr. Dunn. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hogwash, and I'm actually, I have a sort of hierarchy, and that folks that follow me know what this hierarchy is, and it's been a pretty natural hierarchy, sort of order of operations. I think that Gen X men went through. I think that Gen Z is not doing this. They're just going straight to getting their passport or straight to SYSBM. But Black love is at the top, and I'm talking Negro love. I'm talking ADOS. And then if that doesn't work, then SYSBM. If that doesn't work, then get your passport. But like I said, a lot of folks are just going straight to passport. If you're a 50K brother, that means that you're a top 1% income earner on Earth.
Right.
That means you can take that's folding money anywhere else on Earth. And if you are have the kind of skills like a digital nomad, if you have those kind of skills where you can work anywhere, then I would say that would be a good option. There's a lot of toxic stuff that is being said on the internet. There was a comment earlier, and it was something to the effect of social media is making XYZ worse and this kind of thing, and sort of. I think really what social media is doing is it's kind of giving us a clearer understanding of what's actually been going on the whole time. And also I'd say that much of the content that gets characterized as misogyny is a pushback. It's a pushback against the environment. And so I would not say that that social media is artificial per se, or is the source of the problem. I'd say that there's the social media, and there is regular interactions in the quote unquote real world. Both of them are actually real places, but the rules are different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you just need to understand how to interpret the messaging. Yes, some things will be more hyperbolic, but what I think really is actually true and is more honest probably on social media is the comment section.
Mm-hmm.
So even if stuff is framed in a more hyperbolic sense, when it comes to the comments, those are real people, and maybe they don't think that, maybe they think that they have a sense of anonymity.
Yep.
But they're really actually saying things that that they actually think.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of those likes that that toxic messaging is getting, and all of the "you go girl" and ninjas are all dusty, and all those sentiments that are regularly in those comments, I think that stuff is totally true.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow,
yeah. And so blue collar working class men are not good enough. But you're right, Dr. L. Those same men in foreign countries are venerated highly if they move right, because the women have been raised to be wives. Even though we know the foreign women are not perfect, we know they're not perfect. We know that they're being infiltrated by feminism too. But I will argue that they're better quality. They're better. You got better options if you know how to move in foreign countries. Sadly, versus dealing with women here. And sadly, a lot of modern women want men to be the best of the best. But they want us to be the best of the best without being the best of the best themselves. Let me pull this up because this is what got us here. And then I'm going to do this Manosphere highlight daily video real quick. All right, hold tight, Roger. Hold tight. I got you, Roger. I got you. Hold tight. I'm gonna let you talk. Hold tight, Roger. Who is this person? I got you, Roger. Who is this person? Dr. L, this one of your people? I don't know who it is.
Who's the word?
Night call. Is that you, Dr. L? Piece of light.
Yeah, that's mine.
All right, go ahead, Dr. L. Take that real quick, man. Read that, and then I'm gonna get to this clip. Go ahead, Doc.
In your opinion, if men can't correct women anymore, who corrects women, and why isn't the sisterhood doing more in the department? I see some women talking about correction, but isn't doing anything. Yeah. So, you want me to answer that too, or
just hold your point. I'll let you answer. I'm gonna let y'all cook in a minute.
I wanted to answer that previous point too after A Peaceful Life there. So
okay, I'll let you cook. That's all you're talking about. I want to get through these little clips, but this is what we've gotten to, guys. This is what from rational ladies to hoflation. This is where we're at, guys. Hold tight.
Yeah, nigga, you better love me, and you better not love nobody else as much as you love me, nigga.
Dear God, you gave me childhood, you took it away. You gave me youth, you took it away. You gave me a wife. It's been years now, I'm just reminding you.
To all my sisters, listen carefully. A real man will buy you gifts, give you money without expecting sex. And that man is your father.
Do you know why I pulled you over? Officer, if it's about speed, I was running from my wife.
Why?
She said we need to talk.
So hold tight, because I remember you were talking about emotional labor at one point. But hold tight. Let me get through it. Hold tight.
How tall are you?
How much do you weigh?
How much money you got?
How many bodies do you got?
What's your credit score?
Do you have any student loan debt?
Do you pay all the bills?
Do you cook and clean?
How big is it?
How wide is it?
Check. Doctor.
All right. All right. Go ahead, Roger. Peaceful, like, go ahead, and then Dr. L, you can give your point. Go ahead, brother.
I just want to get this message out really, because I think what the issue is, and me and Dr. was talking about men focusing on themselves, is what I try to communicate to men. I don't care whether you make 50,000, 300,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. It don't matter. A male lion cannot lead a hyena. I don't care what you've seen it with Will Smith, you've seen it with Tyrese, you've seen Leslie Jones just mounting off. Pick the right species of woman. The 10% women that are part of the Lion King, the lionesses. They're rare, they're hard to find, they're difficult. And the older these women get, these difficult old women out here, the ones that want to spend your money and keep their money, they're some of the worst ones. We need to focus on the younger generation when it comes to dating relationship. And lastly, the women in the Black community, I don't even want to say that, but they vote on policies: feminism, women's empowerment, LGBTQ. Black men is the last on the list.
I totally agree.
Only needed when necessary as resources and baby makers. So understand the position, and I understand why the young men feel the way they would. That's why I said, let's take the focus off of them. Let that side of I'm sorry, black men are on their own. I'm sorry. The women work against you, and they're anti-family. If they're not deleting a bunch of babies, they're talking about messages that are pro-feminist, white, liberal ideology.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
I agree. Dr. L, go ahead. You were about to say something, brother. Go ahead.
Just to echo kind of what Peaceful Life was saying here, to my thought process about the truck drivers or the blue collar workers is, listen, you guys got to go outside and touch grass. you guys got to go out, and not I'm not saying you guys, but I'm saying men out there. We got to get out there. I just came from DC, and I'm seeing people at all these different monuments and stuff, and walking around these different museums, and there's short guys with women, and you just, I mean, this whole, and as Dr. Thunder said, if you're making 50K, you're in the top 1% of earners for the planet. There's other women out there, if that's what you want. But this whole idea, I can't get a woman because I'm a truck driver, I can't get a woman because I work at UPS. There's women out there who will definitely get on your program. Stop focusing on these other people. And believe me, when I was in DC and I saw some beautiful sisters, I saw some beautiful Asian ladies, and the guys that they were with, I'm like, what is this guy doing that he can pull this woman? So get your game on, get the gym, everything else we talk about, and have some confidence. And if it's not a sister that wants to get on your program, somebody else will. So this idea about I can't and nobody wants me in this, you got to get over that. You got to stop that. You got to stop that.
Yeah.
We talked about that. That's what we talked about, relationship capitalism.
Right. Hold tight.
The main problem is obesity runs in my family.
Nah. The problem is no one runs in your family.
The majority of black women are not queens.
All right. So I want to show y'all something real fast, man. Because this is what dating has gotten to. That's why I said that we need to start charging some of these chicks a whole tax to y'all single men. We got to start charging a whole tax because a lot of these chicks want the best of men. They want men to do all this labor and treating them special. But y'all please forgive me for this. I showed this to Peaceful Life. And
man.
Hold on. And Lord forgive me. But this was funny, but it was true. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And listen, I know this is satire, but y'all tell me what y'all think. Because this is what dating has come to for a lot of men. Hold tight.
Oh my God. Getting in your shit, huh? I can't wait. It's about to be magical. Is it in yet? Is it in yet? Oh my God, I can't wait for you to destroy my guts. Is it in yet? Has destruction begun yet? Oh my God. Shit, huh?
All right, Doc. All right. She said was it in yet? And she said, I want you to arrange my guts. And he started crying, man. And so this is what dating has gotten to. This is what dating has gotten to. The brothers.
Hey, Dr. L, why you trying to act like you don't want to laugh for that, man?
But
you want to laugh.
Dr. L is gonna get 10 emails in the morning. He's gonna be like, look, I don't necessarily agree with a Peaceful Life, Dr. Thunder, and a kosher said. I was just there with those dudes, and they took it out of control. Start typing.
Listen, y'all. Listen,
it's already being flooded.
Dr. L is afraid of losing some subs on his channel.
Well, the women on this channel they want to.
You don't want to laugh too much.
They want him to be the next Derek Jackson, but he refuses. He refuses to cross the line. You see, he's over here with us. The women want to convert him to Derek Jackson. They have the that's a very sexy single man. They want you to pander to them, and Dr. L won't pander. The women is mad as hell.
Oh no! But that's what dating. And listen, guys, y'all forgive me. I wasn't trying to be obtuse or perverse, but I'm just trying to convey a sentiment. This is what dating has come to now, guys. Let me go back and replay it, man, because this is what dating has come to.
You say you're going to go back and replay it?
No, man.
All right, y'all want me to replay? I want to replay. I want to replay. All right, I ain't gonna replay. All right. So I want y'all listen to this chick. Hold tight.
Government agents. You were empowered, but not in the way that you think. You teamed up with the government via government assistance, child support, legal violence, and they weaponized you against your own community and your own men. They sold you on being strong and independent, but really they just isolated you and set you up for further manipulation and failure. The system didn't free you. It actually programmed you to fight against your own, disrespect your men, and not respect your elders. You traded family for funding, and while you celebrated your freedom, your house just is slowly burning down, actually rapidly. Unfortunately, you're not raising children, you're actually programming them. Your daughters are repeating the same cycles as you, becoming baby mamas, involved in sugar daddy culture, whole culture, all of the above. And then your sons lack leadership, discipline, and self-control. So just no order at all, just all dysfunction, emotionality, and rage. You became the perfect weapon to inject the dysfunction right directly into your children, so they don't have to do it because you're doing it for them. But then you brag about your degrees and how you're the most educated and independent and strong and how you guys can take care of yourself, but your children can't read. Can we make that make sense? And as long as you keep choosing the system over black men, you'll remain a non-player character, a program bot running on a government code, just raising the next generation of slaves. And this is why you lead in obesity, single motherhood, least likely to get married, least desirable, most likely to raise a criminal. It's because you're a product of the very system that you think you're outsmarting.
Why don't we have more women like this that speak truth to power, hold women accountable? Because women should be technically, the older women should be teaching the younger women. Why don't we have more women like this? We'll start with Peaceful Life, then we'll go to Dr. Dunn and Dr. Hill. Go ahead.
Because the black community in America is an absolute matriarchy. And that's the why, and there's a messaging and acceptable conversation in the black community. And lastly, I'll say this. Young black men that are articulate, that are intelligent, that are educated, and Dr. L talk about he's seeing all these people walking around Washington, D.C., go outside, touch grass. Stick with your dating and relationship DNA. If you go down there messing with Shamiqua or Keisha or whatever, and you get 1,000 hyenas bites to your ass, when you're an educated, young, squared away black man or a tradesman or whatever, you get what's coming to you. Stay away from the hyena kingdom. Pick the best. I brought out the term relationship capitalism. When women compete, men win. Pick the best woman for you, regardless of race, creed, and color. Select the woman that's best. You're the one that have to live with her ass. You pick the best woman for you. That's my thing on that. Stick with your relationship DNA, and you'll be successful. You're going to get your ass ate up going down there messing with Pookie girl or Mook Mook girl. You're going to get your ass tore up. You might get deleted.
All right, Dr. Dunn, go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So the issue is, and by the way, when you put a comment up, it's covering me up.
Oh, okay. Hold tight. I don't want to cover you up. Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you know, if so, the pick. Okay. So pick me. Pick me is basically Pick Me is Ninja Lover.
Right.
That's what Pick Me means, is Ninja Lover. And so it was actually a racist term. It's actually a racist term. It's actually a term to say that black men are not worthy of, how dare you love a black man. And so if you sound like you're saying something that's empathetic towards, sympathetic towards, black men, to, black men getting a raw deal in the dating market, holding women accountable so that there would be a suitable match for black men, then they call you male identified.
Yeah, right.
And, you're supposed to be decentering men. Matter of fact, you got this past week I ran a number of videos where married women were talking about decentering men, and we're talking all of this kind of dusty talk about how men are terrible. D.L. Hughley's daughter is on there talking about how she's mean to men, and she hates men, and she's a man hating, mean spirited, nasty like this towards her, and she got her a good pediatrician because of that. But it's the sisterhood, it's the girl code, it's not wanting to be seen going against the girl code because of certain devious kinds of what am I saying, pushback, and the way that women do their pushback is it's insidious, and it is behind the scenes. It's mean girls, it's gossiping about you, it's trying to not talking to you straight, it's going around the corner doing devious stuff, it's stuff like cyberbullying and all of this kind of stuff. This is the way that dark feminine sort of presents itself. And so because you don't want to have to face that kind of retribution, I think a lot more women actually have some of the sentiments that woman expressed, but they're not willing to say it out loud because they don't want to get the repercussion. But that being said, a lot more women as of late have been speaking up. Now my assessment is, and what I tell my guys, I tell them, look, the environment is different, and so you're having more women look like they're good options than actually are good options.
That's true. Very true.
Right. Because when the environment changes back, are they going to still be there?
That's right.
About how
that's right. That's right.
Men should be celebrated and appreciated.
Right.
We should admit, and we should be, learn basic, wife skills and stuff like this. Are they going to still be talking that way?
Right.
Probably not.
Right. Women fundamentally are survivalists first, and they're very solipsistic, and they're gonna do what's best for them first. And that's why a lot of times, like I was talking about some of these trad cons versus trad cons. Some of these traditional women are really traditional con women. That are, because I found it right. I found it very offensive when women said we were with black men of the past because we were in survival mode. That's an insult. Because based on what you're saying, if you weren't in survival mode, you would have jumped ship and did what was best for you. The black men that built this country, the black men that built houses with their hands, the black men that got lynched from Jim Crow racism, the black men that were called boys, the black men that were denied opportunities, but they were only with us because they had to survive. Well, imagine if professional men like myself or Dr. L, if I was a single man and Dr. Peaceful Life and yourself, and you were single, say, okay, well, you're old now, so I'm gonna get me something younger and prettier. That would be a problem. But it's always men are held to these standards, even from the slave narratives about women being trapped. They were trapped in relationships because they didn't have no way they couldn't leave. Well, men are trapped now by law. They're trapped by no fault divorce. They're trapped by paternity fraud. They're trapped by a lot of different things. But the same women,
men were always just as trapped as women.
Exactly, they were always just trapped.
Hogwash. All of that stuff is straight propaganda, and that's white woman propaganda. All of that, we were just Stockholm syndrome, and I had to be I was the master's wife, and I had to do, follow through and do what he said, or else I was, no. Because when he died, you kept running that plantation the same way you did prior. I don't want to hear any of that crap. Look, everybody was being persecuted and oppressed in the past, men and women. And marriage was a way to try to shield yourself from some of that. It was a mutual benefit. It was not slavery, like Leslie's saying, right?
Leslie.
Kenny Young, I don't know if that's one of your people, Dr. L or Dr. Thunder. He said that the Manosphere will never get the respect it deserves outside the YouTube space. I somewhat agree with that. All right, let me show you guys this real quick. Who y'all got winning the game today, man? Who y'all got in the Final Four? I know Dr. L probably pulling for Connecticut. Well, I know he's pulling for Connecticut. No, he's definitely pulling for UConn.
Yeah, after the girls got stomped yesterday.
Oh yeah, they got stomped. they got stomped. Who you? I know, Dr. Dumb. You pulling for Michigan? I'll be funny. Ohio State fan. But no,
how,
you
can, how can you tell? How can you? Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna show y'all this, man. But what did y'all think about this little clip, the comment clip about emotional labor and what modern dating has become from the clips that I showed you guys a few minutes ago? What did y'all think about that?
This one right here?
No, not that particular one. What I showed y'all prior. Did anything resonate from that clip?
Well, the biggest thing, I mean, it's just a terrible situation, but the problem what I see nowadays is that, especially today, is that marriage is like the last stop on the sexual liberation rail lines.
Right, I agree.
And right now, what happens with the economy, a lot of these women are talking out under economic duress. If a certain person won the election or whatever else, these women would be calling us all kinds of names and this and that. If DI was still in place and all these other, they're scared financially. And a lot of rebranding is going to go on. Messages are going to change up. But at the core, their hardcore feminist nature is not going to change.
I don't believe it's going to change either. I totally agree. I agree with that. I totally agree. So the clips that I showed earlier, Dr. L and Dr. Thunder, did you guys see anything from those clips that resonated? It was satire, but if you didn't, no problem. All right, so let's get to this real quick, and then we're gonna end this. Hold tight.
Chance to embarrass the female guests. See, this is what they when they talk about misinformation on the internet. This is what they're talking about.
I'm a huge Trump supporter. I have this stuff everywhere.
You can't see it?
No,
we can only hear it.
You can hear
All
it.
right. Hold tight. Hold tight. Hold on. Can y'all see it now? Can you see it?
MHD? Yeah, MHD. Yeah.
All right. Hold tight.
The format seemed mainly a chance to embarrass the female. The format seemed mainly a chance to embarrass the female guests. See, this is what they when they talk about misinformation on the internet. This is what they're talking about.
I'm a huge Trump supporter. I have this stuff everywhere. I just came back from the inauguration. I've been a Trump supporter since 2015.
You know, men invent, build, and maintain society. That's a fact. You know, and
don't women do that too?
Okay, 921, 922.
Three.
Through, hit one. Gay.
The foolishness. Louis Theroux just dropped a documentary on the Manosphere called Inside the Manosphere. And if you've actually spent time in this space for more than 5 minutes, something about it feels off.
I was hoping to understand a little more of what they appreciated in the Manosphere content.
Not because everything in it is wrong, but because it's looking at the loudest part of the Manosphere and pretending that's the whole thing.
A man who's not dangerous will never be seen as successful. You can't be a little bitch. Man against women, it's attack on masculinity.
If your bitch is going to a club when you said no, destroy her life.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Back in 2017, Cassie J made a documentary called The Red Pill, and she did something Theroux never really attempts.
I was trying to understand how these, what I perceived to be women haters, could have so many followers.
She tried to understand the people she was interviewing. One of these documentaries tries to understand men. The other tries to warn you about them. One struggled to get screenings. The other ended up on Netflix. And that contrast? That tells you everything you need to know about who controls the narrative. And halfway through Theroux's documentary, there's a moment that completely exposes the problem with how the Manosphere is being portrayed. Most people won't even notice it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's get into it.
Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
You still got Doc covered up there.
Smartphone technician fired.
All right, hold on. That's well, hold tight.
I'm sorry, Peaceful Life. Whoever's at the bottom gets covered up.
All right, hold tight. Let me take this off. Hold on.
It might be good because they can't associate with me with you.
All right.
After showing customers the hidden kill switch buried in every software update. Now he's
I'd been learning about his ideological forefathers, the community of ultra-masculine influencers, sometimes called the Manosphere. And so I'd come to its spiritual home, Miami. Much of the Manosphere is made up of relatively uncontroversial comedians and podcasters who broadcast about women, fitness, and wealth to a mainly male audience. But at its edges is a community of more extreme content creators.
Hey, can you stop it there?
Yes, sir.
It was this.
Go ahead.
That was that admission that I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that he said that he was covering the more controversial, but then notice that he says that the space is not just this controversial thing.
Right.
So that's different than any of the other hit pieces that I've seen so far. Just saying.
Yes, sir. No doubt. Respect.
Mm-hmm. World and its motivations I was most intrigued by.
Let's break this down.
The community of ultra-masculine influencers, sometimes called the Manosphere.
Already wrong. The Manosphere isn't a community of influencers. Influencers are the product of the Manosphere. They are the loudest voices, sure, the ones who make the most noise, get the most clicks, generate the most controversy, but they are not it. Let's continue.
And so I'd come to its spiritual home, Miami.
Miami? The Manosphere doesn't have a spiritual home. It's decentralized by nature. It exists in forums, in comment sections, in private Discord servers, in the minds of millions of men quietly questioning the world they were handed. But sure, Miami, where the influencers live. Keep going.
Much of the Manosphere is made up of relatively uncontroversial comedians and podcasters who broadcast about women, fitness, and wealth to a mainly male audience.
Relatively uncontroversial. That's the concession. That's him admitting that most of this space is just normal guys. Talking about self-improvement, talking about health, talking about building a life. But he's not here for that.
But at its edges is a community of more extreme content creators. It was this world and its motivations I was most intrigued by.
There it is. He admits it. Out loud, on camera. He's not here to understand the Manosphere. He's here to explore the edges, the extremes, the controversial content creators. And then he named the documentary Inside the Manosphere. The foolishness. Imagine if someone made a documentary called Inside America and spent the whole time in a maximum security prison. Would that be Inside America? Or would it be Inside America's prisons?
Right.
Theroux didn't make a documentary about the Manosphere. He made a documentary about the Manosphere's most controversial influencers.
Right.
And those are not the same thing. The foolishness.
After protracted negotiations, I'd arranged 2 days of filming with an influencer named Harrison Sullivan. I'd arranged to go on Myron's podcast, given it is widely viewed as one of the most poisonous shows in the entire Manosphere. One of the most popular and notorious goes by the name Sneeko. He turns down most mainstream media requests. To my surprise, he agreed.
All right, so Dr. Dunlap, what is your take on Sneeko and Myron Gaines? Because it's definitely a false equivocation. I don't even know. I heard the name Sneeko, but I don't really follow him. But it's definitely a false equivocation because I think most of us are Manosphere moderates. We're just mostly adjacents. But go ahead.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I'll tell you, there were. So of course I know who Sneeko is, and I know who Myron is, and I wouldn't call them centrist Manosphere at all. They're way up on the edges. But then there's the other two that he sort of focused on were guys I didn't even know who they were. I didn't know who they are, and that's not to say that they aren't influential or that they're not a thing, but it also is to communicate that the space is so it's so diverse. It is so, there's so many different things in the space that you could be in the space for a long period of time and you have no idea about even super controversial, influencers that come out of the space. You might not have any idea of who they are. So.
Okay. All right. Hold tight.
To meet me.
Let me take you back for a second. There was a time when the Manosphere understood something crucial about survival. You don't talk to the mainstream. You remember men going their own way? Not influencers. Not content creators trying to go viral, just men who quietly decided to opt out of a system they saw as rigged. They had channels, they had communities, they had conversations that helped thousands of men feel less alone. And then one guy, Big John from MGTOW's Freedom, decided to go on CNN.
Today, I'm jumping into the lion's den.
You know, people are gonna say, oh my God, how did you sit on the same couch as that John guy? Such a jerk.
He thought he could explain men going their own way to the mainstream, humanize it, make them understand. Big mistake. After that CNN piece dropped, MGTOW was officially labeled a hate group. Every major men going their own way channel got demonetized. The algorithm shadow banned them. Years of community building wiped out overnight. And I'll never forget what Dirt Flinging Monkey said in response. He made a video addressed to Big John and he quoted the most important rule in cinema history. Fight Club, rule number 1. You don't talk about Fight Club. Fight Club, rule number 2. You do not talk about Fight Club. That was the lesson. The mainstream doesn't want to understand you. It wants to expose you, label you, destroy you, so you stay in the shadows. You build in the dark. You protect your community by keeping it out of the spotlight. That was the old rule. Now look at the Manosphere to Rule documents.
So why get her on the stream then?
Clout.
Chasing her clout.
Yeah. Views, which it did.
These guys are not hiding. They are performing. They want the attention. They want the controversy. Because attention today is currency. Views turn into subscribers. Subscribers turn into revenue. So of course.
So what y'all think about, what do you think about that Dr. Thunder, about what he's saying? Because as I started my segue earlier, or my piece earlier, I talked about that there were extreme Manosphereans, then there were the catalysts and the entertainers. And you know, I hear you say it a lot of times, Dr. Thunder, that you think you're being suppressed. I know my content is good. I'm probably being suppressed. You can't, I mean, you know, I mean, the algorithm might say it's not, but I think it's being suppressed, but I could be wrong. But what do you think about what he said in that little short clip? What do you guys think about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I think that, what do I think? Yeah, I'd like to piggyback a little bit off of what Dr. Thunder said. There's a lot of people out there who are, you know, saying kind of wild stuff who are on the fringes, who are getting all this attention. And so therefore they are drawing all the attention. I was not aware of all these dudes either. And people are going to do what they're going to do for clout. And that last guy there, he was 23 years old at the time. He had been in trouble and driving around without a license and all kind of crazy stuff. So again, this is going to what we are talking about here, is making sure that there are positive individuals out there who can get this message out for the young people. These young guys have millions of followers who are young themselves. So they don't, again, that's why I'm saying that they're just looking for someone to look up to. So we got to give them something better to look up to. I was not aware of that original CNN piece by that guy smoking a cigar. I had to go look for that because I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
And you know what's ironic is, and I'm sure that we've all addressed this in one way or shape, form, or fashion, that this is about men walking away, going away, in some frame, some form. And society has an issue with that. And I can recall being a young guy. I think it was on Montel, if you guys remember that show, Montel Williams' show.
I do.
He did a show about a woman saying that she didn't want to be in relationships, and she didn't get. I can remember watching the show, and she was like, "I don't like men." Not that she was, you know, a member of the LGBT, but she's like, "I don't like the way their humor. I don't like the way that they are." And it was surprising to hear a woman say that, but at the same time, she didn't get a lot of hate from that particular episode. But we are getting a lot of hate. And I didn't see this CNN episode. But if they spun it in a way that this is a bunch of incel men, then that shows, you know, a clear bias. They don't want men walking away. They need you on the plantation. They want you on the plantation. And so this is something that, you know, it should be admitted. And if this guy, as has been pointed out by Dr. Thunder and MHD, that he intentionally went after these more controversial people rather than the level-headed people, then that shows you that this is that there's definitely a design bias
So this is
that is
unbiased,
trying
right?
to destroy something that they can't allow, and that is men going their own way.
Right, and that goes back to why a lot of men feel like, why would I put myself in a situation where they don't really want to understand what I'm saying? They just want to expose me and censor me and not allow me to have agency as a man or have sovereignty as a man. So why should I come back to a community that don't care about me or my rights or how I feel, and they suppress any and all things that I say as it relates to my needs and my wants being met? And Dr. Dunn, you say a lot of times you feel like your channel is suppressed. I want you to elaborate on that, but also what do you think about briefly what this guy said, and then I'm gonna finish the rest of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the case. I mean, there's a different set of rules. YouTube definitely plays favorites. There's certain things that they don't want you talking about. But then, but also, they also know that they can make a lot of revenue if folks are saying really flamboyant, controversial kinds of things. So they don't suppress the fringe. I don't think that they're suppressing the fringe, but I think that they are suppressing the more level, nuanced, kind of content that also happens to be, presenting, the modern dynamic in a less than favorable light. So yeah, that's a sort of interesting dynamic. Something else I was going to say is, so not only is so in this hit piece, so he doesn't address the centrists, the people that are in the middle. He only wants to address the flamboyant stuff, and he frequently throughout doesn't even characterize aspects of the more flamboyant stuff accurately. I mean, like the whole fixated on guys being, gym bros, being like muscle bound kind of guys, this kind of thing. I'm like, what part of I don't even look, I'm not even aware of what part of the space that is. I mean, that's more like it's like a fitness, like a pseudo fitness something. I don't even know. I don't even know what that part of it is. I mean, that's not even really discussion based. Like, so you're calling people that are producing gym content, they're Manosphere too? I don't know. It's like what y'all are all over the place. Like, what the heck, man?
He's like, go ahead, brother. You was about to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about it in terms of this. If that guy was putting out a message that was, let's say, worshiping women or pandering to women in any type of way, making women these glorified gods that we should be grateful to, there would be no pushback against the message. And I think that any message that not talk about masculinity in terms of serving women or masculinity on their terms, whether it be in the church, whether it be out in the public forum, is always going to be rejected because this is the environment that we live in. We live in a gynocentric environment. There's always going to be pushback to any message that supports manhood and masculinity, or masculinity in terms of just men and not benefiting women. And even they try to reframe it on the last topic, when they try to reframe it as positive masculinity, even with the liberals tried to, because of the election, they talk about Aragon from Lord of the Rings as an image of this masculinity, or, because they only have their ways of saying masculinity. They don't have a problem with so-called toxic masculinity or 300. They don't call the movie 300 toxic masculinity because men are fighting men for women. So really it comes down to, are you serving women?
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me finish this clip real quick. Hold tight, guys.
Influencers will sit down.
Hold on. Hold tight.
Put it like this: you can say anything you want as long as you're kissing women's butt. That's pretty much it.
Hold on.
Oh, you know what? There was one thing I wanted to say that I just remembered.
Hold it, Doc. Let me finish this. If you write it down, let me finish it. Then tell me. Go ahead.
With a documentary crew. Exposure helps their brand, but that creates a strange situation. The people most willing to appear in documentaries are often the ones who benefit the most from the spotlight, which means the documentary naturally focuses on the performers, not the deep conversations underneath.
It sounds like, are you even in the manosphere? Not really.
I guess so. I am. I mean, I think that that kind of graduated. A lot of people that were in that space are now in politics, and everybody in the manosphere is just people online who are trying to make a buck, selling ideologies, and people have heard all the talking points already.
This moment in the documentary is actually one of the most revealing. Sneeko says the manosphere kind of graduated, that people moved into politics, that a lot of creators are now selling ideologies online. Whether he realizes it or not, that statement says a lot, because the original manosphere wasn't built by influencers chasing views. It was built by men dealing with real consequences, divorce court, custody battles, fathers losing access to their kids, men trying to rebuild their lives after systems they trusted turned against them. Those conversations weren't entertainment, they were survival. That's the part Taru never really explores, because survival stories are quiet, they are complicated, and they don't always make good viral content. But the audience listening to these conversations, they're still real. When someone watches a chaotic live stream, they're watching for entertainment. But when a man watches a red pill video, very often he's looking for answers. He's confused, he's struggling, he's trying to understand experiences nobody else is willing to talk about. And whether the influencer is genuine or just performing, the audience's questions are still real. That's the layer the documentary barely touches. Now, some of you watching, you already know what time it is. You've been in this space for many years. You're not confused anymore. You're not struggling the way you used to be. You're here for your red pill vitamins. Just like going to the gym. You don't go because you forgot how to lift. You go because maintenance is real. Because the world doesn't stop trying to pull you back to sleep. The truth never gets old.
I decided to meet these MRAs.
After a career working for major energy companies, I decided to look into coal, and I realized
what you'll hear is that we hate women. You'll hear that it's a backlash against women's rights. You'll hear that we're regressives that want women back in the kitchen and making sandwiches and barefoot and pregnant.
Now compare that to what Cassie J did with the...
Go ahead.
I'll take a sandwich.
You say you take a sandwich?
Yeah.
Red pill. She started with a question. What is the men's rights movement actually about? She interviewed activists, researchers, feminist academics, people who had spent decades arguing about these issues.
You're just bitter, you're a loser, you're a whiner, you're ugly, you're undesirable, you're lazy, you're scary, you must be a racist, you must be a misogynist.
When we do speak out, women often don't want to hear what we have to say.
That's true.
And so then we're called names, we're called whiners.
And this is the way people who don't want men to talk about issues try to shut us up.
And something unexpected happened. Her perspective changed, not because someone convinced her overnight, but because she actually listened to both sides of the argument. By the end of the documentary, she said she no longer identified as a feminist, not because she opposed women's rights, but because she felt the conversation about men had been missed. That documentary caused outrage. Screenings were canceled, petitions were launched, and yet today a documentary about the manosphere sits comfortably on Netflix. Think about that contrast for a moment. One documentary tried to understand the arguments, the other focuses on the loudest personalities, and only one of them gets global distribution.
So what does that prove and say to you guys? Because I like what somebody said that, Dr. Thunder has been on YouTube for a period of time myself, and he talked about how, if you're controversial or outspoken, they're not going to push you in the algorithm. It is what it is. One of the reasons why I've said that I may even start a new channel. I still do men stuff on the side, but it takes a lot of time to put this stuff together. It takes hours. It takes days of planning. It takes a lot of creative genius to put all this stuff together. And for the output that you're putting in, and then the lack of money that you're getting, it's not even worth the time, man. As a professional, I make over $100 an hour, about 150 sometimes. And so I'm thinking about doing some different things. I'm gonna still support men content, but I don't think I'm gonna make this my main channel. I heard you say, Peaceful Life, that you have aborted yourself from the manosphere. Maybe not because you hate the message, but I guess it's the extreme influences. Why did you say that? And elaborate on that real quick.
Because I identified certain compromised men that are in the manosphere. And like I said, I have my own civil war in my channel with the Jellyback Simps. That's a whole different situation. I call them bitch-led men that are trying to slowly lure men back onto a plantation of debauchery that has not been corrected. So I have a civil war going on with jellybacks. We'll see what happens in that civil war. Maybe I go down in flames fighting, but at the end of the day, I see some compromised individuals. I'm not going to call their name, especially those pushing marriage under the marriage industrial complex, that without any changes to the laws,
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Changes to
Totally agree.
the quality of the product that's been serving to men as virtuous wives.
I totally agree. I want y'all to look at this clip real quick, and then we're going to end in a minute. I know y'all want to get ready for the basketball game. But I want y'all to look at this. And Peaceful Life sent me this. Y'all tell me what you think.
I have 5. I have a new one. So he's 3 months. Then I have 16, 13, 9, and 4.
Okay. How are they all by the same guy?
No, I'm divorced, and the last 2 had the same dad.
So the 3 month has the same dad as a 4-year-old?
Correct.
Well, why y'all not together? The baby's only 3 months.
Because so I was gone for a little while, and
what do you mean you was gone for a little while?
I out here got in a little trouble by mistake, but yeah. So
where did you go?
To jail, Kendra.
Wait a minute, you went to jail?
Yes, but it was a self-defense situation, and it's a court case that I'm fighting right now, so I don't really want to speak too much on it. I'll come with 5 kids, and that's just what it is. You either can handle it or you can't. So if you can't, just don't come by me.
Did he make a certain amount of money?
He just need to be able to take care of a family, because I pretty much already started. So if you're gonna mess around with me, you need to be able to afford me. No more brokes. Okay.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So is the expectation he's taking care of you and your 5 kids?
Oh, yeah, because that's what women do. Like, some men, they find out that, they have 5 kids. I know she's going to need some help. I know I want to take care of them. I want to do, what a man's supposed to be doing. He want to show me the right thing.
What a man's supposed to be doing.
Okay, for him, not to have any small kids. We have enough. We'll have enough.
What, Sue? She said what a man is supposed to be doing.
Don't draw no stick.
You said you got a 4-year-old, a 3-month-old, a 16, 13, and 9-year-old, and you said you don't want him to have no small kids. That's what you said. And you want him. What's the mailing address?
Erase that.
What's your mailing address, girlfriend? So how much money you think this man got to make?
Maybe like 800,000. He needs not to work at a fast food restaurant. He needs to.
We need a hard reset, bro.
I don't even want the general manager, because that's not gonna be enough. I've been a Christian. We all fall short of His glory,
Now, do you have a no sex to marriage rule, or that's not how you're not that much of a Christian?
No, I don't want to have any more sex to marriage. I want to really get to know a person. I'm so serious. I know.
And this is what I call the Holy Jesus pipeline, where these chicks want to charge men exonerate prices. I call it a hoe tax. We need to start charging them a hoe tax. But the Holy Jesus pipeline is where they scapegoat Jesus after they had all their fun. Me and Dr. Thunder did a show about 2 years ago, and I said her box, her soul might be saved, but her box is a sinner. Standing in need of prayer.
You know what's funny about it?
Right, go ahead.
You got some of these old Gen X women. Dr. L will tell you about it. Well, no, let me don't use Dr. L. I don't want to send you no more emails. Ladies, the opinions of a peaceful life in no way correlates with Dr. L and his messages. I'm not going to do that.
I hope I'm not the Beta Mel Simpson.
No. I want you to go back home or right on this side of your channel. You know what I mean? It's so disrespectful out here today, especially for older guys. You have women that are Gen X women talking about men paying 100% of the bills, their traditional wives, they've been married, they've had kids. I'm like, what are you going to do with your money? You've been working all these years. You want to take all your money and put it in the pocket and spend my money. And it's the most ridiculous. Well, I found Jesus. The Bible says you're supposed to be doing this and doing that. I think it's the most disrespectful conversation out here, but I'll let you guys leave it alone.
Well, so I put, I have, I say this all the time. The analogous for a God-fearing man is a virtuous woman.
Yes.
Okay, that's the analogous. Those are the things that go together.
Right.
And a woman ought not be requesting a God-fearing man unless she is a God-fearing woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that's this is just egregious. This stuff, this and I think a lot of people thought that this stuff was fake when Kevin Samuels was on, and these women, in like fashion will come up and be talking about their 3 baby daddies, and he needs to make $500K and all this kind of stuff. And I don't want to have any more kids. It's like, well, what is this ninja supposed to get, out of this deal? All of this kind of stuff. They thought that this stuff was made up. Oh, these are actors or something, but no, they're not actors. The stuff is just.
She believes she's real. She believes.
Yes, right. They're real folks. And this stuff is just. This is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Like, are you hearing the words that you're actually saying? She actually said what a man is supposed to do. For her, 2 baby daddy, 5 kids.
Yeah.
What a man is supposed to do. What a man is not supposed to take care of somebody else's kids. If he decides that he wants to, that yes is to your benefit, but should not be an expectation or demand that you can make. You think you can make that demand? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that
real
bad when I
undelusional.
sent it, man. I didn't know it was that bad when I sent it. I didn't watch the whole clip, but dang, it's worse than I thought.
Yeah.
She kept getting worse.
Well, it's taxation without representation, man.
It's worse than I thought.
They don't value men, man. And that's why I said men need to start charging the whole tax. They need to start charging the whole tax, man. You're gonna have to pay a lot to hold before you get me. They need to charge a whole tax.
Draw your little stick figure all you want to, Kendra. But like when you really commit yourself to Jesus and you change your ways, like that
That's that hold the Jesus pipeline. Hold the Jesus pipeline.
So here's my issue. Here's my issue. I'm okay with people changing. Listen. I'm good with people changing. I like the idea that people can change.
Right.
Okay, that's wonderful. But that doesn't mean that you're supposed to get the same thing that a woman that wasn't out in the streets, wasn't doing a bunch of wild stuff, doesn't have 5 kids, is not overweight, and has actually a realistic, outlook with respect to what she actually is bringing to the table, and has some freaking humility about herself. See, those are not the same things. If you actually have changed, then you would actually have shame about how you're trying to come to the table and require this guy give you all of this stuff, and you don't have anything that is you don't have anything that's comparable to offer in return.
Well, and that goes back to, once again, they don't see nothing outside of themselves. That's the issue with solipsism. You got a bunch of immature, arrested developed women. They have been taught so long that their value supersedes that of an average man. That's why when I did the show with the young lady yesterday, I was saying that, in my opinion, I think average men are invisible. I know, like, there are some women that get with average dudes, but I think by and large we sell the narrative that average is not good enough, when many of these women themselves are well below average. The International Quiet Storm said, I don't think she's trolling. There are women out here on this planet Earth that is really that delusional and entitled to think that she deserves, shaking my head, yeah, she thinks she deserves top tier men, but she would never get me. Hold tight.
And who's saved,
Yeah, hold tight.
and who's going to be the leader? He's going to understand. I don't care what you're doing out there, Kendra. You got a beautiful smile, baby.
Where you calling me from?
I'm here in Atlanta.
You have any kids?
Yes, I have 5. I have a new one. So he's 3 months. Then I have 16, 13, 9, and 4.
Okay. How are they all by the same guy?
No, I'm divorced, and the last 2 had the same dad.
So the
So
3 month has the same dad as a 4-year-old?
Correct.
Well, why y'all not together? The baby's only 3 months.
Because so I was gone for a little while, and
what do you mean you was gone for a little while?
I got in a little trouble by mistake.
All right, hold tight. Let me read this by Anita. Shout out to Anita. Hold tight. She said, I don't know who that goes to. It probably goes to Dr. L. Women need to understand that God wipes their sins away clean, not man. She's right. Running to Christianity is to save your soul, but there are consequences, period. And she's 100% correct. Listen, God loves you and God will save your soul, but it's a consequence for being a 304. It's a consequence. And, you know, they be having those statue of liberty vaginas. Bring me your tithe and your poor. After that vagina's been used up and it's tired. That vagina's tired, man. It's tired.
Hey, look.
Hold on. That statue of liberty vagina. Now that vagina tired, you know, that vagina tired is singing old gospel Negro spirituals. And now all of a sudden they want somebody to come back and put a ring on their finger and make them special. But they don't understand that men have to earn their value. It takes a lot of time for men to become successful. And, you know, I'm really thinking about writing a book called Black Love Without Consent, because we don't ask men what they want. And women years ago were smart enough to understand that if you wanted a top tier man, you had to have a level of emotional discipline to get the kind of man that you want. But these women are so delusional now because of simp culture and men being in their DMs where, you know, she got a fupa, big back, and got a bunch of kids, and she thinks she's still special because some simp is calling her a queen. And simps are part of the reason why these women are so delusional. If simps would stop saying, listen, just ignore them and say you don't qualify, then they will come to a come to Jesus moment and stop demanding this nonsense from hardworking men, white collar, blue collar, whatever. And so I agree with Anita. There's a price to pay for sin. Can God forgive you? Yes. People always talking about the Lord forgave me. That's my past. That's between you and Jesus. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got nothing to do with the conversation you had with Jesus. I'm glad, but you don't think after you got ran through that you can come to a man and say, marry me and make me feel special. No, we're not going to make you feel special, ma'am, unless you're in special education classes. And I used to be a special ed teacher, but we're not going to make you feel special. Men got to start raising the bar and say, no, that kind of behavior is not enough. Because I've always said, fellas, Dr. L, Dr. Dunn, Peaceful Life, women don't have a problem telling you what their standards are.
Nope.
They don't have a problem with saying this is what I want in a man, but somehow men, we struggle with saying you don't qualify. If I was a single man, ain't no woman gonna tell me what the standard is. Either you become what I need you to become, or you can remain by yourself. I'm not gonna even argue with you, and I'm gonna say I wish you well. No hard feelings. I don't have any issues. Go ahead, Doc. You about to say something? Go ahead.
Well, I have to get going.
Okay, cool.
I got some family plans to execute here, but I think this has been a really, really good show, and I appreciate you asking me to come aboard for this. You know, and last thing I'll say is no matter what they do to suppress this message, it is, you know, it's escape velocity. There's not really anything that they can do. There's not really anything they can do. So those that have committed themselves to being the sort of mouthpiece of the message, you know, I would just say stay strong, you know. You know, try not to take that pander money, and you know, keep the messaging, keep the messaging going. Look, I don't condone all of the stuff that happens in the space. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not a fan of. I'm a Christian, and so there's certain messages that I can't endorse, or things that I think are problematic. But the red pill has done, I think, a very good job of articulating in describing why it is where we are. So as far as prescribing the problem, the red pill has done a very good job of that.
No doubt. Hey man, listen, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we could maybe talk about are there some possible solutions? And Dr. L tends to be more interested in talking solutions. I present solutions all the time, but they're not easy. People don't want to hear what what I think the solutions are. But a lot of critique is levied at the space for not being solution oriented, which is interesting because we don't do the same thing for practically anything else.
Right.
Feminism, which has not said what the solution is. Matter of fact, created all these issues. And when you bring up issues with feminism, it doesn't provide any solution. It doesn't provide any nuance, okay, let's tweak this a little bit and do it this other way. So just talking about it is its own valuable, is just as valuable. Okay, that'll be my
well. I think we do have solutions. I think the solution that we're offered, similar to your talking point, is not the solution they want to hear. One of the solutions that men say become passport bros. One of the solutions is men that say let there be a visceral consequences for the bad choices that they make. One of the solutions is get with the women to get on with your program. We've given viable solutions. They're not solutions that are synonymous to what they want to hear. And if we said marry big backs and women that have been ran through and women that got want taxation without representation, then that's the kind of solution they want to hear. But when we say men, raise your standard, like Dr. L was saying, become the best version of yourself, find women that are going to get on your program, we're giving solutions. We said it several times, but it's not the solutions that they want to hear. The solution must be akin to the pathology that they have, which is delusion. Dr. L, go ahead. I know you, Dr. Dunner, got to go. Dr. Dunner, thank you, man. This is powerful, man. I enjoyed this, brother.
You get a head start on that form email. That disassociation form email. You can probably coordinate with Dr. L and share, I'll leave it alone.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
All right, Dr. L, go ahead, man, before you look at your Connecticut Wildcats, man. Go ahead.
Huskies. First.
Husky. Yeah, that's right. Husky. Yeah, Husky. So before I finish playing, me and Peaceful Life, we're gonna finish playing this a little bit. I know you got to go, and I really appreciate you being extremely generous with your time, man. Your stand-up brother, got nothing but love and respect for you, man. These are the kind of conversation we got to have. We as men, we don't agree on all things. I'm sure Dr. L don't agree with all my talking points, and I'm okay with that. But he's still a brother that I love and respect. Me and Peaceful Life debate all the time, about talking points. Y'all know the Trump now is saying that they're trying to tell these athletes that they can be transferring back and forth. I don't know how you guys feel about that because they feel like it's messed the game up. But what have you gotten from this conversation, man, Dr. L? What have you gotten from this conversation? What's resonated? I thought it was a very powerful stream. But what's resonated from the talking points that I've highlighted?
I had a poll going. I can't seem to access.
Okay, let me find it. Let me find it for you. I'll get it for you. Hold tight. Let me go to the notes, the private chat. Hold tight. I'll find it for you.
Yeah, it was on my stream here. I don't know where it is, man.
Did you put it in the private chat? Did you put it in the private chat?
I put it on my channel, and now I can't seem to find out where it is, man. So I don't know.
So what did you ask in the poll? What did you ask?
I asked was the documentary helpful? Was it good, bad, or was it fair and balanced? And it was overwhelmingly good, but I wanted to give the stats about how many people answered it and what the final numbers were. And now I don't seem to be able to find it. So I don't know what happened with that. So I apologize about that. I can't give the final numbers. I don't know what happened with that. But anyway, so it was a great conversation. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much for having me. I definitely appreciate it. I think that I think that overwhelmingly they said it was a hit piece. So I think that I definitely want to be solutions oriented. I know that we all are. I definitely again appreciate just this space. It has helped me to understand that I wasn't crazy. It helped me as a 50-plus-year-old man to understand that some of the issues that I was dealing with and struggling with are definitely out there. I think that one of the biggest takeaways that I would say we tended to focus a lot on the ladies or men who want ladies. And here's, I think that men have a right to be angry and upset. I think that men have a right, men who worked on themselves have a right to say, to look around and say, I've done what I wanted to do. I've educated myself. I've put my kids through college or whatever. Even young men in their 30s or whatever said, I've done the right thing. And now when I look around, I don't see any marriageable women. And I think that a lot of backlash and a lot of anger comes out of that because they're not finding marriage-minded women, or they're not finding women who are marriage-minded who come with a lot of baggage, whether it's mommy issues,
right.
daddy issues.
That's right. That's right.
The fake hair and all this other type of
Right.
stuff.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of anger about that type of thing. And rightfully so, because now the American dream or whatever is lost to them. And that's a whole nother conversation about the way the economy is going and way this man who's in 600 Pennsylvania Avenue is messing up the country and the world. But that's another story. And so a lot of these guys don't feel as if they have any access to anything. And well, we can go down that road another time. So anyway, we have to establish ourselves, become the best version of ourselves, and that's what it is, man. You have to ignore women who don't want to get on your schedule. You have to ignore women or anyone who doesn't want to help you achieve anything in life. Focus on yourself, focus on your dreams, your desires, your goals. Keep pushing forward. Don't become a simp jellyback, as Peaceful Life would say.
I left a comment for you. I left a comment for you in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we make a lot of jokes about that, but there's a truth, and the reason that that particular lady who was on Kendra Dree was talking about that is because that's what she's been used to.
That's what she's been used to. I totally agree.
Simp jellyback men coming in there. Paying a bill every now and then, paying a light bill, and then having access to her sexually. Right. Men got to stop that.
They got to stop.
Hold the line.
Got to hold the line.
You gotta hold the line and say, I'm not cash apping you for a phone number. I'm not taking you out to an expensive date on the first date. I'm not paying for babysitting services for you and your kid. I'm not doing none of that. We're gonna get to know each other because I have goals, dreams about having a family and whatever. And if you don't align with that, you just don't align with that. And men have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that.
Let me ask you a question. I need to say everyone needs to grow up and become emotionally mature, and God offers the ultimate solutions. I agree with her 1,000,000%. I think everything is found in the Word of God. The fact that we've gotten away from it, people don't want to talk about it. People chide it. What made Black America great in the past was community. It was God. It was community. It was God, family, and then community. I don't know if you remember the song Dr. L. Back in the day. It was about a group called LTD, and it stood for Love, Together, and Devotion. That's what the song name was, the group name was. And also, they made a lot of love. They made a song called Love Ballad. And back in that time, in the 70s, the early 70s, mid 70s, or even in the early 60s, we had a greater reflection of what the world was like and what Black love was. It wasn't perfect by any means, but I stand on business and say that Black men have always had emotional intelligence when they come down to the needs of women. Some of the greatest crooners of that generation were Delphonics, Stylistics, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Groups from the 70s that pledged their love to women. But I stand firm that men got to stop rewarding bad behavior. They got to raise the bar, and they got to be okay with walking away and not get caught up in this racialized idolatry where they're more or less placating to women just for the sake of them being Black. Listen, I get it. People have an unbound loyalty for the Black community. I'm not against that in part, but I do believe that if an Asian woman show you love, Dr. L, A Peaceful Life, and she respects you and get on your program, you get with an Asian woman after you've been exhaustive, if you chooses to do that. My point is, whoever loves you and show you love and respect, that's who you get with. I don't believe in being loyal for the sake of being a skin tone. I'm not doing that. I ain't knocking nobody else for what they want to do, but you will earn your way into my life if I was a single man again. You got to earn it. If you don't earn it, you can keep it moving. I ain't mad at you. I wish you well, but I'm not doing no more of that Captain Same whole stuff, putting on backpacks and I'm not doing it, man. But anyway, man, what's the final score, Doc, with UConn and Illinois, dog? What's the final score?
Man, I just hope they win, brother. I don't know, man. I after yesterday's game, man, You know, I don't know. I was watching the last UConn game, man, and I'm like, I don't even watch sports that much anymore. But I said I'm going to sit down and watch this game, and I'm like, wouldn't you know it? They're losing a whole game because I'm watching this game, and they were getting pumped. And next thing you know, they came back at the end and won. So I'm just hoping that I don't jinx them again and they lose because So I'm just hoping for a good game. I don't know what the final score is going to be. We got the results, and somebody asked in my results, my thoughts about the results. About it. Some said it was good. Okay. Some 20% said it was good. 63% or so said it was a bad, and 18% was fair and balanced. So the results are what they are. I don't think it was a good showing, and I'm glad that Dr. Thunder and even Manosphere Highlights Daily pointed out the issues with it. And who they were actually targeting, so that lets you know it wasn't a true and fair documentary.
Not at all.
If you're going to tell a story, tell the whole story.
Tell the whole story, right?
And not just But again, it was. I said it was a hit piece from the beginning. It was definitely designed to make us look bad. I got to look into those other red pill those other ones. I never saw those, so I'm definitely curious and if that lady changed her mind because she actually listened to what men said, that'll tell you something. So I'm definitely going to watch that and probably do a commentary on that because I haven't seen it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, no doubt. Well, listen, man, always a pleasure, man. Much love and blessings. I always love chopping up with you. If I'm ever in Connecticut, man, I'm gonna look you up. I'm gonna bring you a Tar Heel shirt. I'm gonna bring you a nice Tar Heel polo, and with a Tar Heel polo hat, man. A nice Tar Heel hat, but you gotta wear it, man, to represent the flagship of flagships, man. But anyway, enjoy your. Listen, I might even bring you some North Carolina barbecue when I come to, man. I'm gonna bring you some barbecue, man. But anyway, man, much love and blessings, man. Always a pleasure. You're a good brother, man. I got nothing but respect for you, man. So I'll see you soon, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, you guys take care. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Quiet Storm. So I'm gonna finish playing that video. Let me read the super chat real quick. Byro Hammond said, great chat and salute to the panel. Shout out to Byro. Appreciate it. I'm gonna finish playing that piece and then I'm gonna let you go as well. What did you get out of the conversation real quick?
I think it was a great conversation. I mean, critically, the most important thing, and I can understand, especially with the men, is that unless you're dealing with the 10% women, you're on your own. You have to map out this life, this society, do what's best for yourself, your family, and those people that matter to you. Because the message out here or the mentality out here is not something that's advocating for anything that pours back into men. So you have to be self-preservative in this current environment. I mean, I love what the brothers are saying about community and all those things, but those things have been tested and tried because all we're talking about today, as far as what they're offering, is relationships and situations that work on their terms. So that's really it, you know.
I'm gonna finish playing this little clip and then I'm gonna get out of here, man. But this definitely been a good show.
Yes, salute.
Mike, I don't know who this is. Mike of Malice, Love Breakaway 3 FBA. I don't know what that means. But hold tight. Just finish playing this number. We're gonna get out of here, man. Thank you, man, for tuning in too, man.
No problem, brother. It was a good time.
Yes, sir.
But yeah. So
where did you go?
To jail, Kendra.
Wait a minute. You went to jail?
Yes, but it was a self-defense situation, and it's a court case that I'm fighting right now. So I don't really want to speak too much on it. I'll come with 5 kids, and that's just what it is. You either can handle it or you can't. So if you can't, just don't come by me.
Did he make a certain amount of money?
He just need to be able to take care of a family, because I pretty much already started. So you know, if you're gonna mess around with me, you need to be able to afford me. No more brokes. Okay.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So is the expectation he's taking care of you and your 5 kids?
Yeah, because that's what leaders do. And some men, they find out that, they have 5 kids. I know she's going to need some help. I know I want to take care of them. I want to do, what a man's supposed to be doing. He want to show me the right thing. So that's what I want. But I prefer him, not to have any small kids. We have enough. We'll have enough.
You
don't draw no stick.
You said you got a 4-year-old, a 3-month-old, a 16, 13, and 9-year-old, and you said you don't want him to have no small kids. That's what you said. And you want him. What's your mailing address?
Erase that.
What's your mailing address? Girlfriend. So how much money you think this man got to make?
Maybe like 800,000.
Ooh.
He needs not to work at a fast food restaurant.
Oh my.
He needs to. I don't even want the general manager because that's not gonna be enough. I've been a Christian. I mean, we all fall short of His glory, you know.
Now, do you have a no sex to marriage rule, or that's not how you're not that much of a Christian?
No, I don't want to have any more sex to marriage. I want to really get to know.
Yeah, and that's the fundamental
Man, it's
delusion.
cooked, man. Matriarchal
Yeah.
culture.
It's
Matriarchal culture.
matriarchal culture, right?
And an army of spineless jellyback simps that be bigging these women up. We have a pathetic group of men that pour self-esteem and validate individuals like her. So she thinks that way because certain men are giving her the attention and validation. So again, sometimes this delusion online, social media, it's validating the real world by a certain group of men. But anyhow, that being said, man, what time is it? I'm probably gonna hit the park.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go outside and touch some grass.
I'm gonna touch some grass too, man. I'm about to go to the store and get me get some snacks for the basketball game, man. But anyway, man, I'll tap in with you, man, on the back end, man. We'll talk, brother. Take care of yourself.
Salute everybody. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, salute everybody. All right. Shout out to John Smith for that $2 super chat. I really appreciate it, guys. We're gonna end it here. I really appreciate you guys tapping in. This was a good show. I really appreciate you guys showing some love. This has been a powerful show. But anyway, guys, we're gonna end it here. Men, love yourselves. Get with good women to get on your program. And we're going to be signing off, guys. Thank you. Hold tight.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
Fire for your mind. Causation, clinician.
If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters acting like vultures. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.